Here it again. Are you insecure about your marriage? Fuck no. If you're so immature to understand that I don't want to do romance missions in games because I have tons of real life romance, not fantasy romance in games, you think it's because I'm insecure in my marriage? You're an idiot, and you're the immature one.
I think one of the things that would hurt Phil the most is if he suddenly didn't have a wife anymore.
I am not separated from my wife. She is home right now. You're a moron. My marriage is good. My marriage is good. My marriage is good. How is my marriage? My marriage is good. We stay home. We order food. I troll. Speculate. Let me set the record straight. Cat is downstairs crying. When I masturbate, leave my wife out of it. She's beating demons in the closet. She won't come on stream. Trolls keep asking. My wife, Cat, she's full of salt. There's a sick motherfucker on the internet called Tevin. It's Kevin's fault. It's absolutely true. What I'm telling you, big things are happening behind the scenes. What is up, Tyrone? How are you? We had gone out of our way to celebrate Valentine's Day. We made the decision together, you see, to not go to the dinner. So basically, the day was disappointing compared to what we had imagined it to be. It sucks. You don't want to know what's up here. Shit that will scare you for life. Seriously. Bad, 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 bad. And that's why I don't talk about it. Cat, you need to get out now. That place is toxic. My mother said to me, I want you to go on a honeymoon, and I'll pay for the flight and the hotel room. I was like, that's great. It's a no-go. You know, that's money I need to pay my bills. How much do you need to not get screwed over? I told her. She gave me the money. My marriage is good. My marriage is good. My marriage is good. Oh, Tyrone, it's going good. We stay home. We order food. I troll. Speculate. Let me set the record straight. Cat is downstairs crying. When I masturbate. Addiction, bankruptcy, jail, back taxes, rehab, divorce. Makes me spin in my chair. What about killing Seattle Air? Another dollar tip came in from Tyrone. We need to hang out again. So I guess what happened is this morning, my wife was doing stuff in the kitchen, getting ready to go to work, and she says her shirt got caught on the handle of the cabinet. So she walked back and it pulled and it yanked the whole fucking front of the cabinet apart. I go downstairs and the vacuum cleaner is in the middle of the floor. I'm really not fast. Did you ever find a restraining order? Not fast. Did you ever find a restraining order?
Sounds good to me.
And I say, Cat, what's wrong? Oh, the vacuum cleaner broke. What? The motor must have gone because there was smoke. It's a joke. And all of a sudden she says, Phil, you gotta come in the back. We got a major problem. The shower valve broke. The tub is clogged. Probably got 8 years of dirt and it doesn't work. So my wife can't work today. I was awoken to be told the car doesn't start. That's shocking. I tested the car last night. All right. Sit down in the car, go to start it, it just won't start. I'm really not fast. Did you ever find a restraining order? I'm really not fast. Did you ever find a restraining order? My marriage is good. My marriage is good. Oh, Tyrone, it's going good. We stay home. We order food. I troll. Speculate. I want to set the record straight. Cat is downstairs crying. When I masturbate.
Welcome to the 1 second. Welcome to the Saturday morning Style Atlas stream. A little earlier than usual, since I changed it to 10 o'clock, of course. Now it's 9 again. And we have a divorce line. Everything's fucked up. But thank you all for being here, especially early. I am in a wedding today, and I have to be out of here by 11:30. So I really cannot dawdle too long because I want to watch all the stuff. 1 second, hang on. Sorry, my throat is giving me problems. I do, before we get to an Atlas segment, because honestly, I don't have very much to say. I do want to apologize to everybody for two things that I said last week that I was wrong or uninformed on, or what I would call prophetic in, but let me explain. So last week I said that DSP had quit Crimson Desert, Retro Rewind, and RimWorld. And at the time, I thought this was true. I thought this was the God's honest truth and that this had already happened. Apparently, I was wrong, and he did that this week instead. And that's why I say, I don't think that I was wrong. I think I had foresight. I could see my sightseeing abilities came into play. I was prophetic in nature here. So obviously, you're all welcome for the foresight blessing. I forewarned you all, so you knew what to say. So you're welcome. That's the first apology. And the second apology is that I really downplayed or underestimated DSP last week when we were talking about his new little clip grift. I really underestimated how quickly he was going to come out and tell everybody his business plan with it. He gave us the inside baseball and what his plan was, and he did an entire view audit far earlier than I really thought that we were going to start getting into the nitty gritty of it. So again, apologies for downplaying what would be a really, really fucking stupid segment from DSP. I did not mean to mislead you in this way. Now, in regards to an Atlas segment, I didn't do shit but play a new city builder that I picked up on sale. Yo, shout out Farthest Frontier. We're a city building. I enjoy decorating and placing trees. It's very Atlas core. I've always been a city builder fan, and I haven't found one that scratched the itch in a while. So big ups, Farthest Frontier. And that's pretty much it. I'm in a wedding today. If you are going to a wedding, just know that might be me standing up there in the party. You'll never know it, but it could be me if you're going, of course. And with that, here's the guy talking about his clip grift.
Well, okay, someone tipped $2. I think you should put highlights on another channel. That would help catch the wave of the algorithm, keep playthroughs and streams on one channel and highlights on the other. See, herein lies the problem, and this is what we talked about yesterday when I announced that I was going to do highlights. If I do it on a new channel, completely new, all right, the channel will not catch the algorithm or anything because it's new. Like, I'd have to sit here promoting this new channel just like I did with DSP Throwback for like a year to get people to try to check it out. And it could end up just...
But that's because he has no real interest, though. That's because people don't like him. Plenty of people in the modern day are capable of starting channels and making content and getting a following doing it. Granted, he's not going to get 200,000 subscribers like his current channel, but that doesn't have any algorithm push either. So what difference does it make? For the simplicity of keeping the channels clean and separated and not spamming people's feed, if that's genuinely a concern he has, he really should just make another channel. But obviously we have to rely on the algorithm. The algorithm is gonna be our savior, of course, because DSP knows how YouTube works, you see. He's an 18-year veteran.
It's like DSP Throwback where the videos get like a couple hundred views and that's it. That's not worth the money or investment. Remember, I'm paying for these videos, okay? So it's not worth the time or investment for me to launch a new channel to get videos that get a couple hundred views. I can't even qualify for monetization. I make no money on the channel. Now, I could rebrand it.
That means to me that it doesn't really deserve the money then. Just personally, if your channel with this one type of content is incapable of meeting the monetization standard, then it doesn't deserve the monetization. It seems... to me, like a good way to gatekeep DSP. Personally, I like the way the tool is being used against him right now.
The channel, for example, the DSP Throwback channel is pretty defunct. I'm not using it. So I could make the DSP Throwback channel, DSP Clips or DSP Highlights or name it whatever I want. The problem then is the channel already exists in the algorithm. The channel already is there. So now you already have this body of work from years ago, right? And now what do we do with all that? Obviously, I'm not going to get rid of it, but now it's like starting over, but the channel already has history that's not related to what the channel will be moving forward.
Okay, so it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, we're trying to use the channel to ride the algorithm, but it's also simultaneously a negative that we're using that channel to, we're using an already existing channel in order to ride the algorithm, that's a net negative. Like, I'm not quite sure. There's no win here then. So why not just make a new channel for simplicity's sake? Like, I just don't understand how we're hung up. Where is the conundrum at? This is not a problem because there's no winning.
And again,
if you're always going to lose, you might as well do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Channel already existed, so will it ever get pushed in the algorithm? Probably not. So it's either start completely over and struggle to get the channel even enough views to monetize it and put all this hard work, effort, and money into a channel that will make me nothing.
Okay.
Or immediately start rebranding a different channel that already can be monetized, but that channel already is something else and try to push that into the algorithm. Either way is bad. Okay?
So what are we talking about, dude? Why are we informing people of this then? And this is one of the reasons that I really thought he was gonna wait longer to do this business meeting with the crew. I thought that we were gonna see how the views actually played out, like behind the scenes, just watch him for himself, and then, you know, whether or not this was even worth talking about, if it was getting enough views, if it was making enough money, maybe then it would be worth discussing. And even then, obviously this is not a discussion you should be having publicly, but if in DSP scenario, then it would kind of make sense to talk about it. But doing it openly now, when there's a problem that literally cannot be solved and it's not even making enough money for him to justify any action, what are we talking about doing here? It's just a nothing segment. And the real solution to all of this, by the way, was to always just have one fucking channel. That was always the solution. To stop uploading 5, game parts in a day or whatever for one game and then 5 of another on the night stream. It was always to leave them solid, to make clips of them, and then do his little fucking segments as cutouts as well. That was clearly the solution. But now he's already too gone. He's already too far gone on making 1 million channels for everything.
If I put the clips on this channel, now at least if you find the clip,
and thank you, Robert Williams, for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Find the channel where I'm putting up my content, and it benefits me immediately. The problem is the clips could get lost in this channel because I also do the raw uploads and the podcasting and all of that. So there is no actual answer. No, every scenario has positives and negatives. Okay. The toughest scenario would be starting over, making a brand new channel from scratch, branding it, trying to get people to check it out. Like right now, if I announced
that's one of the 2 options, though. Like, that's it. The option is use an existing channel or don't. If the hardest option is to not use one, then use one. What are we talking about?
Clips channel for DSP.
We need a channel just for the daily raps. I agree. That's a great idea. What business degree did you get? Like, what top end, fucking AAA business school did you go to? Sorry, quadruple A business school that you went to. That's genius. I never thought of that.
At most, I would get 10,000 subs. And that would be it. And it would be hard to get 10,000 subs. I'm not kidding. Like, there's just not that many active people who watch my stuff positively who want to subscribe to my clips channel when they could just go see other people steal it anyway. That's the problem. Other people.
He's not even confident he can get 10,000 subs on his channel, which I'm not quite sure why he needs 10,000 subs. I don't think you need 10,000 subs to be monetized. I'm not quite sure what that's going to do for him. I think the prerequisite is 1,000, but sure.
I've already done this for 5-10 years. Why do they need to go?
He'd get 2K max, but that would qualify him, and that would be an accurate representation of the number of people that are actively interested in DSP clips. It would actually be a useful piece of information for him to have. It's actually really odd to me that he's always wanted to act in such odd and mysterious ways as to, like, pump his numbers in odd ways and kind of, I'm really struggling with the words here, misconstrue the numbers, because that only fucks him over. Everybody calling out the wrong numbers is actually meaningless if he doesn't know them either.
To my official clips channel.
It's for his ego. You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's clearly the answer. But it's still crazy to me that he would rather actively be a detriment to his own business and livelihood than to bruise his ego. That's something I can't understand personally. Yeah. He would have to face reality, I guess. The scariest thing to do.
When other people steal immediately. People are literally stealing right now and putting.
Ardenet is confirming it's 500 subs, 3 videos a month, and 3,000 watch hours. Oh, buddy. That 3,000 watch hours actually might be tough for him, not gonna lie.
Clips up as we speak. Something I can't even do. You know what I'm saying? What happened to the politics show?
Also, that last segment there when he's talking about uploading clips and while he's actively live, and that's something he's unable to do. While partially true, if he was really determined, it is within his capabilities to if he's already paying somebody to make montage clip style videos that are kind of reminiscent of detractor videos themselves. He really could have paid a detractor style individual to just cut clips while he's live and active. And he would even have the edge because he knows he could communicate what segments he's going to do and what might be worth clipping. And he could hit the scene first if he really fucking wanted to. But that's obviously too much effort for DSP. That's too many layers deep. He could never.
The politics show lasted about a month and a half. All right. The politics show was very honest. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't lean one way or the other too far for views. And because of that, no one liked it. People wanted a show where I was going to sit here and either become polarized left or polarized right, say the other side was the devil, completely rip people's assholes open. Okay. Ultra drama, going for the throat. That's what they want in political content today.
What they want in political content is not somebody with the fence pole so far up their ass they don't actually have takes, or, and this is my favorite of DSPs, the dumbest takes in history that literally no one else has because he misunderstood all of the information. Though that's what you got when you watch DSP politics. It was honestly inoffensive because he's so fucking stupid he can't even formulate or explain his opinion. That's why people didn't watch it. That's why it was a completely pointless show. Thank you, who's Koji? That's how I'm pronouncing it. Thank you for the 5. I really appreciate it. You said, was watching an old stream of yours and you played RXK Nephew, and you knowing him, who is hilarious. I fuck with you, Skeleton Man. You're tapped in. Well, all the boys love RXK Nephew. He's triple platinum in the workplace in certain areas. I put them on. So thank you for the 5. I appreciate it.
No one wants an actual tempered, rational approach. They either want extreme this way or extreme that way. The other side's my enemy. Everyone kill each other. That's what people want on the internet. It's sad because it's insanely immature and it's not how real life is, but that's how they act it is to get views and attention and money from drama queen idiots. Okay?
Right. Sure.
That's not what I made. I made pretty down-to-earth coverage of real life news, politics, culture war stuff, etc.
Down to earth is in you would have to literally eat the dirt in order to understand DSP's takes. Like you would have to be unironically eating dirt as regular nutrients to be so retarded that you thought his takes were good.
And the show failed within a month and a half. No one liked it. They were bored. So I said, well, I'm not going to keep making this content if you don't want it. I'm not a fake guy who's going to exaggerate or make shit up. So if that's not who I am, then forget it, right? Okay.
All right. Also, he clearly had no passion for anything political or anything of the sort. I don't think he really had a passion for it. He didn't have any conviction in his voice. It seemed more like an obligation that I don't know. If you've seen it, and you know. But this is all cope. Thank you, Snortle Combat, for the 2, saying, I'm Mr. Frog. This is my show. I eat the bug. Well, thank you for eating the bug. Appreciate it. Thank you for the 2. Snortle Combat.
Bubba the Bubba, what are you talking about? He says, maybe the guy who ran DSP Classics channel could do the clip channel instead. I think it would help you reach tremendously. First off, there was never a DSP Classics channel. There's a DSP Throwback channel. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, what do you mean? I don't need someone to help me run a channel. I could run the channel myself. We already have someone making the clips. So what are you talking about?
See, so then you can't run the channel yourself. I mean, that's exactly what they meant. Have the person that was, editing the DSP Classics channel or whatever, have them do that. Anyway, it's fine. It's whatever. He just actually doesn't understand when people speak to him. It's insane to me, dude. How are you this willfully ignorant, like readily all the time?
Someone's already making the highlights. I'm not looking for someone to make highlights. I have it done. What are you speaking of? Figs, how you doing?
Yeah, a guy with long hair, I really do think that's the answer. If he wants to stop clippers, he does need to have someone post the clips faster than detractors. Because there is a window in there. If you're fast enough, if you could have known a little bit ahead of time, you could absolutely get in that window. All right. Okay. Fuck's sake, how long does it take to read something interesting? Is nobody saying anything worth of note?
What happened to the Red Dead Redemption DSP channel? So you're talking about way back in the day when Red Dead Redemption 1 came out, which I think was 2010, I believe. Back then, things were different on YouTube. It wasn't necessarily 100% clear if a company would actually let you play their game and do a let's play of it or not. Most companies were fine. A few, like, for example, Rockstar, could be pretty touchy about it. For example, in 2009, Rockstar had released the Lost and Damned DLC for Grand Theft Auto 4. I bought it and went to play it, and they hit me with copyright strikes. And I'm like, what are you, fucking crazy? Why would you do that? No one else does, but Rockstar did. So when Red Dead Redemption came out, I told everyone, listen, I want to play this game. It looks amazing, but I can't risk having my main channel get strikes against it because Rockstar...
Dude, the fact that he's retelling this whole thing is so... Like, I want to meet it with complete apathy. Like, I just... There's... It just goes to show you how long he's really been playing the multiple channels for all of the retarded things he does game, you know? And it didn't really work then, and there was obviously flaws in it, and then we continued to do it anyway. And we're just I also retelling the same story. We probably tell this story 10 times a year, and we just do it on loop as if anybody doesn't know. It's actually insanity.
There's copyright strike, like, you know, crazy for some reason. So I said, I'm going to make a whole new channel, and we'll put the videos up there. No, I won't be able to monetize them, but I don't care. You know, at that point, I hadn't really fully started monetizing any content until early 2011. So that playthrough wasn't going to make me money per se on YouTube anyway.
If you guys could click the PayPal link in the description.
It was more
really
like people watching my vlogging and stuff on my vlogging channel, which was monetized. Okay. So I said, listen, doesn't matter. Let's put it on a new channel.
Also,
that way, if these idiots hit me with copyright strikes, it just shuts down the new channel and not my main one. So I did that. And basically, it went well. Okay. Got tons of views and everything. It worked out very well. Later on, I did exactly the same thing when I played the Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare DLC. And then I also used that channel when I did my LA Noire playthrough. So there was like 3 big playthroughs on that channel that did very well. And then after that, I was like,
bro, we have a whole channel dedicated to this exact topic that he could just send them to instead of giving the history lesson. Legitimately, just send them to the channel and be like, those were the playthroughs that were on these other channels that don't exist anymore.
Well,
and then tell the end of the story where they got terminated.
To actually
the longest
upload these kind of gameplay to the main channel. And when I monetized DSP Gaming, obviously I wanted to make money on all my work. So I just put it all on DSP Gaming moving forward. But the channel just sat there, not used for many years. And what ended up happening was, at one point, YouTube decided to do this weird linking and unlinking with YouTube channels with a Google Plus and all this weird shit. Google Plus doesn't even exist anymore. It was their attempt to do like a social network. When they did all of that, okay, there was a time when there was a small window where someone could actually try to get into your account. It was some kind of a back-end thing. I don't know how they did it, but basically if they had...
But I thought DSP understood how YouTube and Google worked. I thought he was Mr. Technical Knowledge that was far more, technically literate than your average Joe. I thought he knew everything that there was all of the time. He's capable of finding every bug in every game and also secret YouTube back-end loopholes or something that he was supposedly emailing them about to try and close, like some glitch in the system. Like, that's who this guy pretends to be. And then he's like, yeah, I don't even know, dude. During the Google Plus thing, it just got hacked. It's crazy.
Like, general information, like the date that the channel was originally opened, an email address associated with the channel. Like, there was like 3 or 4 pieces of information you needed. In my case, sadly, I guess that information had been public. And they guessed and got access to the account. They did it both with my Red Dead DSP account and my DSP Final Fantasy 13 account. Because I had one that was just for my Final Fantasy 13 playthrough for similar reasons. Now, I didn't even realize they had taken control of those accounts because I didn't use them. Well, I'd never gone back to them or logged into them for many years. So I didn't know that these people...
That also seems really odd to me, especially given who DSP is and the kind of audience that he has and was cultivating, no matter how small at the time. People have always not liked DSP, despite what he says. he's always kind of been a polarizing figure. It would be odd to me that he's this businessman, business degree, and he has accounts that are literally not being accessed ever, and he's never checking in on them, but he's not closing them. That strikes me as very odd and short-sighted, low IQ, uninvested. I think all of those work.
We're actually having access to the accounts at all. Someone one day tells me, Phil, are you aware that someone is broadcasting football, i.e. soccer, European matches on your Red Dead Redemption channel? I said, what? And I went, and sure enough, the entire channel had been destroyed and redesigned to illegally rebroadcast soccer. And I said, what the fuck is going on here? I went to log in, and it says, well, we need to verify your identity. And it asked me all the questions, you know, your name, your address, the date that the channel was open, email addresses, former passwords. I did it all, and at the end of the day, they said, oh, sorry, we still can't verify it's you. We can't help you. So I never got access back to Red Dead DSP or to Final Fantasy 13. And YouTube, after like a month, shut down both channels because they said it's a violation of YouTube's terms of service to broadcast soccer on here.
Samurai Sansa saying YouTube should close inactive channels. I don't know about inactive channels because the content that could be on them could actually be really good and it's just no longer used. I mean, if there's a classic video from back in the day, it should still exist. I do think that any video that has like sub 100 views after like 10 years, maybe we don't need that one though, because it is not a classic. And I think the amount of space you would save is actually like astonishing. It would be incredible. You would like never need a data center again.
So the channels were permanently destroyed. Now the good news is I saved all the footage from back then. I actually had the video files saved locally on external hard drives. And a couple years ago, with that DSP throwback project that we did on the DSP throwback channel, we restored the Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, and Final Fantasy 13 playthroughs, as well as LA Noire, and all of that is up on that channel in its entirety, and you can watch it with no issue. And in fact, we even upscaled the graphics. We fixed the audio so that there's no audio issues with music. We titled them with thumbnails, all of that, the whole 9 yards. So for posterity purposes,
the whole 9 yards is the standard practice of just making a video and putting a thumbnail and title on it. I mean, they did the AI upscaling or whatever the fuck, but that's AI. They just put it in the editor and let it do its thing. And then DSP was supposedly forced to watch his own playthrough to accurately title and thumbnail them. Oh God, heaven forbid. What a passive thing to have to do.
You can actually check.
And he didn't even do it. He had somebody else fucking doing it for free. And we're still crying about it. Oh, the fucking, the hardships and trouble and war we went through for this channel to get it back up. Jesus.
And watch those playthroughs now when you couldn't for many, many years. Okay, so there you go. That's what happened. If you can believe it, some asshole found a loophole to hack into old YouTube channels when they did that Google Plus linking shit and destroyed those channels.
All right, so there you have it. There's DSP openly telling everybody about his plans for the clip channel, or maybe not his plans for the clip channel. It depends, and it's not even profitable enough to really continue to justify doing on a regular basis. I really just could have saved face had he not said any of it and just continued about his way, making them whenever he pleased and justifying it to himself and only himself. But instead, we had to let everybody in, which is a very odd thing to do. What I mean by that is channels that haven't been used in over 2 years. Oh, like haven't even watched anything? Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. Yeah, delete accounts that literally aren't existent. Okay, I mean, I got no problem with that. So the other thing that the only other fucking thing DSP did this week that was even worth of note is he is really upset with Crimson Desert. People that play Crimson Desert now don't seem to typically have this problem, not from what I've seen. DSP is the only person I've seen with this take. Again, I checked the Steam reviews. I've watched a few more reviews just this week, and I haven't seen people with this take. So a unique DSP take. But he can't seem to let this game go. Even though he doesn't like it, he doesn't enjoy the mechanics, and he's told us this explicitly. He was playing it reluctantly for his audience, and it is fucking his brain up for some reason. And I'm not quite sure why Crimson Desert, of all games, it got such a visceral and explicit reaction from him. So this is him in his last play session right before he rage quits.
Fuck this game. I'm seriously hate it. I'm not playing it anymore. This is the most boring fucking game. Insane, repetitive garbage. A plot that is non-existent. Combat that's insanely unengaging and just terrible. I'm not playing it anymore. I'm done. There's no point in playing it. You guys don't care either. You guys don't give a shit. I'm not even kidding. Both chats are saying stop playing it, so I'm done with this fucking thing. It sucks. Like, really, I'm just done. I'm bored. There's nothing to do in this game. It's so boring. Yeah, that's really what I want to do. I want to run into a camp in the pitch black where you can't see anything, fight 5,000 generic enemies, the same boring combat I've been doing for 20-some hours, and the game sucks. And you want me to lift up banners and put them on stands. Fuck you.
This is just standard stuff that games do, by the way. Like, these aren't mechanics that are inherently boring by any means. Like, he's describing normal gameplay of other games as well. Yeah, you want me to go in the middle of the night? He could have waited for the day. Oh, you want me to do the combat? Well, yeah, the combat's kind of a main core feature of the game. There's some intricacy to it, and you can have fun with it, and it can be pretty free-flowing. But apparently it's not for DSP. Oh, you want me to raise these banners while taking over this fort? Yeah, that's the mechanical way that you indicate, you know, that you've taken over this piece of land in a video game, buddy. It's really not that deep, but we're going to act as though this is some sort of atrocity. They've committed a war crime by just making you do fairly normal game stuff. Like, look, if it's not for you, that's fine. You don't have to enjoy all of the mechanics. Not every game is for every person, and that's fine. But to act as though this is some sort of crime against humanity when he's explaining very basic video game style stuff is insane. Thank you, XJS, for that 13 months saying 44-year-old. By God. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
imagine reacting like this to a game at 44.
Fuck you. Try making a good game next time. Try putting things in the game that are worth people's time rather than just a waste of time. This game is terrible. It's fucking awful. It's so fucking boring. I'm never playing it again. You ripped everyone off. Seriously. Oh, but it has 200 hours. Yeah, 200 hours of boredom. Of boring, meaningless content. It's the definition of slop in 2026. It's slop the game.
And I think this might be DSP's biggest disconnect, and it might be why he is so unlikable playing video games, at least to me or some people who maybe I can put this into words for you. What he defines as meaningful in a video game is so shallow. It's so like tunnel visioned in. It's like if it doesn't have a direct narrative or an outright payout like in the game in some sort of, I guess, akin to a monetary way, really. If it doesn't have some sort of thing to get DSP, he's not just satisfied in having fun. He can't just enjoy game mechanics and find them enjoyable and that be the point and that be the experience, which I think is how a lot of people play video games. You play them to have fun and play a video game, and you understand that, and none of it has to be real, or it doesn't have to have a hook or be addicting or anything. You don't have to have a great story. You can just enjoy video game mechanics for what they are and then be done with it. He can't do that. And I find it really jarring when he says things like this. Oh, it doesn't have, nothing is meaningful. Like, if you don't enjoy the mechanics and the game wasn't for you, and that's fine. What does that mean to be meaningful and then like demand it in this way? Yeah, it's like he needs a gotcha reward at the end. His brain is fundamentally broken when it comes to video games because of gotcha. That might actually be what it is. His brain, his chemistry doesn't fire a similar way anymore because he's got an actual addiction. Insane. I thank you, Meth Bear, for the 5. Saying Phil's passwords were the complexity of N-words 1, not Google+. Contemptible little pig baby. I believe that. I believe his passwords were easy, and I would imagine that they were all the same, and he had a similar email. He was darksidephil1@hotmail.com and darksidephil2@hotmail.com for these accounts. I would believe that.
A million things to do. None of them make any sense. None of them are coherent. You don't care about the plot because the plot is fucking nearly non-existent. Fuck this. There's so many cool, unique games I could be playing and not wasting my time on fucking trash slop like this. Crimson Desert can kiss my fucking hairy ass. I'm done with it. Goodbye, Crimson Desert, and good fucking riddance.
A guy with long hair saying the puzzles of Crimson Desert are fun, but he's too stupid and chat just tells him how to do them. As a person who's played some Crimson Desert, honestly, there's been moments where I stare at the screen for like 20 minutes trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do here. What mechanic have I not engaged with yet that I could actually make an impact on whatever puzzle this is? And that is a fun and rewarding experience. Now, I don't think DSP would get anything out of that. He would call it boring. He would say there was no point. How was I supposed to know that? If his chat isn't helping him, they would be complaining the whole time, but obviously they just ruin it for him. You know, that's an aspect of the game DSP actually cannot engage with. You're right. And it's a shame.
First part is that they forced me to walk around doing absolutely nothing for 30 minutes of bullshit before we got to the boring mission.
Yeah, they're all beginner's traps.
Fuck that game. Wow. That game is the game that respects the player's time the absolute least. It is a complete time waster of a game. If you like wasting your life away, play Crimson Desert.
That's all video games. Please, nobody ever think that playing video games is really anything more than wasting your time in a different way. Like, I think it's more engaging mentally and physically than, like, watching TV or a movie. But you're not accomplishing really anything. You're not progressing. You're not really getting better at anything. So, again, it's just a weird standard to hold to a video game. You can enjoy video games and they can engage you in certain ways, but you're always wasting your time with them.
It has zero meaning and means absolutely nothing within the gaming landscape. It's a fart in the fucking wind. Yeah, I don't know what you want to do. What do you guys want to do? Because the problem is we wasted an hour. We literally wasted a fucking hour on that junk, right? So now we only have like another hour left on the late stream. And the thing is...
And again, we wasted an hour on the stream. Were you not playing video games with your chat? Were you not entertaining? Because if you weren't, then yeah, I guess we wasted that. Yeah, we wasted an hour, not him, right? But yeah, I guess you could call it a waste of time, but I thought the point of streaming was to be just entertaining and hanging out with the people that come to watch. You didn't waste the hour if you were there. It's just, again, it's shallow, it's vapid, it's short-sighted, it's weird stipulations on things that don't have to be. Like, he's calling out his own failure when he really could just spin it into something much more positive.
I want to entertain you guys. I want to have fun. And I don't want to have another fucking stream ruined by garbage because the game is fucking terrible. I want to have this be a good stream. So what do you guys want to do? I said we could either chill or we could try to find some people in classic fighting games, but we have to make a decision because we need to announce what I'm doing so people know what I'm doing for the next hour, or else this is going to be a waste of a stream, another failure stream. And this
again, waste of a stream. What does that mean? It's entertainment. They're all kind of a waste. I guess.
It ain't my fault. That game is fucking terrible. I can't believe how bad Crimson Desert is. Like, I mean, really. It has zero coherence, zero direction. The game is a mishmash fucking mess of garbage. And the fact that there were creators coming out I kept hearing this complaint about Crimson Desert as well from DSP, and I've seen other people say it, although they didn't necessarily point it out as a negative. But it's a mishmash of other games or other mechanics. Are not all games somewhat a mishmash of mechanics? Like, yes, in Crimson Desert there's a lot, and there's a couple of other games that have quite a few mechanics that seem a little excessive and over the top. But at the end of the day, all games are just a bunch of mechanics smashed together in a bunch of different ways. I'm not quite sure what this criticism is either. It seems like if you were to levy this at other games, you'd be called kind of dumb and stupid. I guess that's what I'm doing to DSP now. Having the balls to say, it's you. You're the problem because you're looking for a story.
CD is kind of unfocused. The mechanics, I feel like, in CD being Crimson Desert, of course, can seem unfocused because not all of them are as important as others. There are ones that you can actually just not necessarily engage as much with, or there's a workaround to make it far easier. But I feel like they go together. I feel like they all play a role. Maybe I haven't experienced all of the mechanics. I mean, I only have like 80 hours. There's still some I haven't seen, but they go together. They can be used in interesting ways.
In a game where there isn't a story, but the game is still good. No, the game is awful slop. And when you promote awful slop, all you'll get is awful slop. So you shouldn't kiss the butt of a fucking game that obviously was made by a team that repurposed an MMO. Just fucking stop with the bullshit. Say it like it is. The game has no direction, no actual structure. It's a waste of your fucking time because nothing matters in the game. It's just a bunch of shit they slap together with hate. It's garbage. Stop.
I'm not a big fan of the criticism of it being a single-player MMO either, though, because there's tons of multiplayer games that I've played before and thought this would be better as a single-player experience, and I wish that I could have these mechanics and this kind of setup in a PvE scenario, and then just have fun at in my own time. Like extraction shooter, like people have a good time. PvE extraction shooters. Would you say if you had a PvE extraction shooter before and it was just a mishmash of a bunch of fucking mechanics and it was supposed to be multiplayer? I mean, yeah, Knights of the Old Republic Online. Yeah, I preferred Knights of the Old Republic, the single player games, but it's an interesting mechanic. I would like that MMO experience and that world and that IP or whatever by myself, and not, you know, the membership or whatever. It's a stupid thing to complain about.
Kissing the butt of these fucking game devs that don't try, because they didn't. They literally didn't.
KOTOR
They
is
just
a single
repurposed
player
assets from their
MMO?
MMO. God, people are stupid. Guys, please support tonight's stream. We're going to have a little over an hour. I'm going to do my best to entertain you. I can't guarantee you that we're going to get people, but man, I would love if you guys would hang out and watch me play old school Street Fighter tonight, which I love. All right. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Obviously, I had absolutely no idea that Crimson Desert was going to end up being such a boring mess, and I only kept playing it because you guys kept showing up and supporting it, and as you can see tonight, that didn't happen. So fuck that game.
Fuck that game. Because you didn't support, fuck that game. And that's the God's honest truth, isn't it? That's why we're really angry at the end of the day. Because you didn't support, fuck that game. That's the mentality over on DSP Space Gaming. You could tell we're really big fans of gaming. Now, I introed this clip and said that it's fucking up his brain and he can't let it go. And I really do mean that, because not only did we actively rage quit like this, but we did a daily wrap this night, and we talked about it on the following day's pre-stream, and then that night we also talked about it in the daily wrap, and we just coping the whole time. So that's the remainder of the clips, is we're just gonna be crying about Crimson Desert over and over again. Because that's what DSP did this week. That he thought that was the entertaining content. Unless you wanted to watch fucking
DSP
Pokemon.
here, and welcome to the
Again, any of you that are enjoying the Pokemon playthrough, you are the bane of my existence. I really wish you would stop doing that and enjoy other cool, robust, meaningful content elsewhere. Stop encouraging him.
Good evening, everyone. DSP here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday, the 21st of April, 2026. If you're wondering what's going on, I'll explain in a moment. All right, but let's talk about the day that was. Let's talk about how today went. Today was a combination day of a morning show where we covered an interesting news story, the continuation of Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, and what was supposed to be a late night Crimson Desert stream that went really badly. And
yo, shout out Gangbang Style, who is gifting subs. What a cool name to have on your screen during your daily wrap.
I said I'm not playing this anymore, and we decided instead to do old school fighting games. So let's talk about how everything went. Morning show today was interesting because today we discussed a big news story that Xbox is lowering the price of Game Pass, but removing Call of Duty from it. I analyzed the story because it happened only like 2 hours before my first stream had started, and it was a great opportunity to cover news as it was happening. So it was a good show, and we hung out, and then we started with Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Now,
oh my God, I don't care.
FYI, with Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, we absolutely are now into the final fourth of the game. What I mean by that is we're in the home stretch, the end game of the game. What happens is you have to go to 4 locations on the map that you've already been, go through...
Still playing Dragon Quest VII. Just in case you were zoned out, kind of like I was as soon as he mentioned it, we are still playing that, unfortunately. Out of all of the games that we could possibly be playing, Dragon Quest VII is still on the fucking schedule. And it's not getting any more popular, guys. We're not getting any more support. We're not getting any more viewers. It is just struggling.
Dungeons, fight bosses at the end. Once those locations are done, I believe there's a big showdown at the end. That's the end of the game. So the good news is the story is in, overdrive. We're actually pretty exciting at the end, some of the twists and turns that happened in Dragon Quest VII today. But as everyone knows, I don't really get attention when I play turn-based RPGs. So I knew if we were going to have a slow or bad stream this week, it was probably going to be Dragon Quest VII, and I was dead on correct. It had by far the least attendance, the least engagement, and the least support of any stream this week. And actually, it was very close, if not the least supported stream of my year so far.
Woo! You love to hear it, folks. You love to hear it. I hope you're all feeling as much joy and splendor as I am upon hearing these words. I'm glad it is going terribly. I'm glad he's getting everything that he deserves. It really couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Which obviously sucks, but again, like I told everyone, it's okay as long as my other streams are doing well. Okay, as long as other
for
streams,
audio
go well,
listeners, your ears might hurt. That's my bad. I should have given a warning, I guess.
it's not a big deal that we have a slow stream of Dragon Quest every once in a while.
Yeah, and he is just handing the trolls W. That's a great point, Dennis. Why are you saying this? Who is keeping track of this other than DSP? And he's actively handing out the information. Like, imagine you are in front of everyone who dislikes you, and then you start handing out all of your embarrassing information. Hey guys, I shit my pants in the 3rd grade, and then I got beat up at recess that same day after changing my pants. Like, why are you telling people this? Just shut the fuck up and move on, bro. They don't actually need to know this. You could just play the games and be done with it. Thank you, Bufair, for the 2 Canadians saying big ups, homie. Great work. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the 2 Canadian. Big ups.
We're 50 hours into this game. We're about to head into the end. Within another few streams, I'd say probably maybe 3 more streams, 4 tops, maybe 3. We'll actually beat Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. So all I want to say is, for those who are still actually watching this playthrough and engaging with it, thank you. It's almost over. I love it. I can't wait to see how it ends. But, it is what it is. I get it. People don't like the turn-based RPG stuff. So, yeah, it was very...
But we're still playing it. We fully understand that nobody likes the turn-based RPG stuff, but we're still going to continue to shove it down your throat. This will continue to be on the channel.
Fortunate that it didn't get much support. I think we like $60 the whole stream, which is really bad, obviously. But, hey, hopefully you'll do better next time. We'll see. But by far, tonight's late stream was the disappointing stream, and here's why. So, Crimson Desert, and I said to everyone, listen, I will keep playing Crimson Desert as long as you guys show up, you guys engage, you guys support, and it doesn't really just piss me off and disappoint me. There are things about Crimson Desert that I still like, including...
I don't think that last prerequisite was ever actually mentioned. As long as it doesn't piss me off and annoy me, I don't think he ever really said that. I thought the circumstance was always, I'll play the game if you pay me. That was it. This weird, I have to like the game as well is just, I've never heard that before. Not from him. I thank you, Dune Messiah, for the 21 months, saying DSP can't make you like the game. He likes the game, but it's not his fault you don't like the game. Get it, Chief? No, it is kind of his fault I don't like the game. He does actually have an offensive spin every time he plays any kind of game. Even if I, do enjoy them, I look at them a little different, ugh, it's got that DSP stink to it now. But anyway... Wheeler Dude, thank you for the 2, saying 2 different brown shirts was a choice that day. Dude, you don't like his fit? Can I say brown maxing? He's styling on the hose right now. This is a fit, okay? A lot of fashion going on here. You wouldn't understand, P-Brain. Thank you, Wheeler, for the 2.
Open world, including the graphics, and when you unlock new elements to the game and some of the puzzles and things are great. What's weak is that the story is disjointed, it doesn't make sense, and the combat is atrociously bad.
Fit.
Okay?
Shut up.
So tonight, here's what happened. Just listen to this. I start playing Crimson Desert, and I believe this is the start of Chapter 6, okay? It opens up with 30 minutes, I'm not kidding you, of completely mindless nonsense. So what do? You go talk to this guy. He says to go over here and talk to that guy. So you ride on your horse and follow a guy to go talk to a guy. Then you ride on another horse and follow another guy to talk to another guy, to talk to another guy, to talk to another guy. I'm not kidding. That was half an hour of tonight's stream.
Now, keep in mind, all of these talking to guys is also during, travel from area to area. So, when you were done talking to these people, maybe you could explore a new area. Or, they're not that fucking long. It's legitimately a 2-minute ride here, a 2-minute ride there, and maybe a fucking minute and a half to the other one. And it's purely for plot reasons. And, look, sometimes... not an acceptable fucking thing to do, I agree. But... sometimes that happens in your fucking shitty little story games as well, DSP, where they exposition dump insanely. So I don't know why we're crying. Just, again, an odd thing for him to be yelling about.
Walking around and gabbing with idiots, and none of it added to the story. It was a complete waste of your time. After that passed, then the game says, you have to go into a giant base camp that's overrun with enemies. It was the Black Bear clan, which is the first time you're facing them. Of course, they're just generic. There's some bigger dudes and some of them that use, fire. They're still the same combat. It's very boring. And basically, the game's like, well, the story here is that you need to put up 3 banners in the camp.
I mean, it is a little different as far as combat goes. They have more health, therefore you can't be nearly as aggressive. They have unblockables and uninterruptibles during their stupid special attacks that can catch you off guard if you're used to playing too aggressively again. Like, it can be a difference. It can change things.
Why? Because the game tells you to. Why would putting up 3 fucking banners during a camp takeover fight mean anything?
Because you're
The answer is
taking
they
over the
wouldn't.
camp,
The
the
game doesn't
sections
have
of the
any, like,
camp.
intelligence to it. It's just saying, just do this arbitrary thing during the fight. Problem is, the camp is overrun with these.
Why would capturing this command post automatically win us the fight in Battlefront if we captured all of them and drained the points? What does that mean, guys? It's just an arbitrary, stupid number and point that you have to capture. This game sucks. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's a video game, man. They use Supreme Commander for the 2, saying DSP. And here is why. Money. Always the answer. Of course it is. Fuck this game because you didn't support it is actually a crazy thing to come out and say as openly as he did. Thank you for the 2. I appreciate it.
These enemies. So as you're trying to pick up the flag, figure out where to put it, because there's like a little post or something you have to put it in with your telekinesis powers, all the enemies keep attacking you, okay?
Right. It's almost like you're supposed to clear the enemies out of the area before you do the thing, because it has like it has like stamina that you have to use, and it takes an amount of time. Maybe you could do both of them at the same time, like as they're flooding in more dudes, you can try and make more progress, and you kind of got to balance the two. It's, you could engage with it or you could cry. Thank you, Movie Sign, for the 16 months, saying nice-looking Banana Republic shades of Brown Dave. No sense of creativity or wonder when playing Crimson Desert. 44-year-old man, baby. Yeah, he just doesn't know how to play games. He doesn't have, video game enjoyment intrinsic in him anymore.
So eventually you're going to get frustrated, say, well, I'm not going to stop trying to do that. I'm just going to kill some of the enemies. You will, and then you'll come to realize that all of the NPCs in the camp that are on your side do absolutely nothing. They literally stand there doing nothing. They never programmed them to do anything. So they just all stand there like this, and they don't help you. So it's you against an entire camp by yourself. It's insanely boring. You can't see.
Why is that insanely boring? How would the AI doing part of your work make it any less boring? Also, if you're good at video games on a regular basis, this is what all AI feels like in single-player games. I think this really just goes to show how bad DSP is on a regular basis at single-player games, if he's never really felt or experienced this before. Honestly, players can feel like this in multiplayer games as well when they're on your team. It really is a shame.
Because it's nighttime, and you don't know where the banner is in relation to where you're supposed to put it in the post. It's like, it's a pain in the ass.
And people are saying the AI does help. I didn't notice, but I was going ape shit when I was doing it.
I can't find it. I found
I don't
the
have
post where it's
time to
supposed to be. Where the
focus
fuck
on
is this banner?
AI
So I'm running in a
friendlies. Come
circle
on
for like
now.
5 minutes. Finally, way over to one side, I found the banner. I had to kill a whole bunch of enemies, pick up the banner, walk it over. Oh, you're out of stamina. Pick it up, walk it over. You're out of stamina. Now you got to fight enemies. Pick it up, walk it over. You're out of stamina. Finally, get.
And this proof again that he's not engaging with the mechanics of increasing his stamina. If he had to, I know how far these poles are from the places in which they have to be placed. If you upgrade your stamina reasonably, like don't overdo it, but get like 200, you should be able to do it in one and a half, maybe. The fact that he had to stop 3 or 4 times he's not doing it correctly. He's literally not playing the game.
Put it up there, put it on the post. Wow, I still got to do 2 more. What? What is this? I walk across the camp, more generic enemies, more generic enemies, more generic enemies. I'm getting so fucking tired and bored. I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. This is atrocious, okay? Finally, I get to the 3rd one. I start to do it. A swarming mob of enemies show up out of nowhere, and I just die. And I said to everyone, watch this. Alt F4, close, done. I'm done with Crimson Desert. The game is pointless. It has no coherent story whatsoever. So as you advance in the game, it doesn't feel good because you have no idea why you're doing anything you're doing. It has a million.
What isn't he understanding about the story? Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's some fucking complexity that, like, it's 9 layers deep. You have to have a nuclear physicist engineering degree or something retarded in order to understand it. You're just gathering dudes so that you can take back the land you lost at the beginning. He's made it no further than that. That's all he's doing. How is he getting lost in what's going on? Just a genuine question. Look, if you don't understand the stuff in the sky and your powers and these two other mysterious magical individuals, sure. But he's getting lost at why he's attacking a fort and garnering men for his army. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
In game mechanics, none of which are actually connected. They're all disjointed and messy and sloppy and stupid. The game itself is a sandbox, which I get, but there should still be meaning to the game. Like, you should be like, oh, remember that memorable moment when this happened in the story, or you took this big fight. None of that exists. I'm like 20 some hours into Crimson Desert. There's not a single moment that stands out in my mind of this game. It all feels like slop that was copy pasted from other games. The traversal and the puzzles of Tears of the Kingdom, an awful combat system similar to, say, maybe Tears of the Kingdom, auto combos and things of other sloppier combat games. RPG elements, base building elements, stupid teleport, just garbage.
Stupid teleport fast travel. We're going to hate on fast travel? Like, look, I'm down to hate on fast travel for every day of the week, dude. Anytime you want to talk about how much you hate fast travel, please hit me up. I'll fucking rant all day long about it. But DSP of all people, the guy saying the game is boring and that there's nothing going on and it's not meaningful and it's wasting his time is going to complain about teleportation. He's going to complain about fast travel. Holy fuck.
Sorry, the game is garbage. You can like it if you want, but here's the thing. The people who will like Crimson Desert, it's very simple. People who want maximum gameplay and quantity out of their game, they don't want quality because you don't care about quality. The kind of person who will like Crimson Desert is the person who spends $70 on the game and then literally will spend 2 months playing it without, caring about, oh, well, the plot was incoherent. You don't care because all you wanted to do was spend time maybe unplugging from your real life, relaxing in a virtual world. I get that. I'm just telling you, that's...
But what he's asking for quality and not really explaining what that means. To say something is not meaningful or rewarding or whatever, like that's a nothing sentence. There's no tangibilities behind that. So what are we talking about when we say that it's not quality? Do these mechanics not work? Do they not work together? Do they not have an impact on how you experience other parts of the game? It's one thing to not like how they do it, but in order to say it's not quality, I don't know. You have to go further than that. But he doesn't have he's got a gift for gab in a very negative way. He's not capable of expressing what he means or really articulating anything. He just says a lot. Thank you, Snortle Combat, for the 2, saying slop, 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 slop. I agree. Thank you for the 2. Whoever taught DSP slop needs to go to hell.
It's not a very good game. It's still good for a certain kind of consumer. It's certainly not good for a fucking streamer who's trying to entertain an audience, and every time you play, the game is just an incoherent, boring mess. That game is not good, in my opinion. I'm sorry. You can like...
There's streamers that stream actual nothing games, and they make it entertaining. Games that have no plot and have like one singular mechanic, and they have an audience and can entertain. So this is just DSP not being able to rely on the game to carry him. That's all it is. Thank you, Paul Turner. For the 5, saying he wants games to make him feel like a kid again, but he's not. He's an old, bitter curmudgeon. It's true. It's true. I feel like bitter curmudgeon just goes with being an old, though. Thank you for the 5.
Like it, that's fine. That is not my kind of game. I want a game with a meaningful story. I want a game with elements that add to each other and build upon each other and have meaning, progression rather than just repetition. Okay? I want combat that's actually engaging and fun, that I like doing, not I have to begrudgingly mash my way through and power level myself up with new equipment, more stamina, more health, just to beat a simple boss. The game is not well designed. It's an MMO with reused elements thrown into a single player game meant to basically say, hey, look at this, $70, but in reality,
it's meant to say, hey, if you were ever interested in MMO style mechanics in a world that large, but you didn't want to play it online, here's a single player game. That's actually kind of cool. That could be a market. I know that I've had that thought myself before. I would love this game if it wasn't multiplayer. So maybe he's just not seeing the vision. Maybe that's what it is. Thank you to Pasta Maker for the 2, saying no one taught him. Pigs know slop naturally. Fuck, you're right. It's innate to them. It's in pig nature. At a metaphysical level, it is within DSP the slop. It's true. It's true. He's kind of like the originator of YouTube slop, so he would know, I guess.
They didn't even try to make a real game. They just smashed it together and taped it together and said, here you go. And I hate to say it, I said this on my stream, and I'll say it tomorrow on the podcast. The reason people like Crimson Desert is simple. No one knows what a good game is anymore because we haven't had enough of them. They're so rare when you get a very good, meaningful game. People have already been conditioned to like games that aren't very good because they're not used to good games. I said on stream,
This guy buys every fucking Call of Duty and plays mobile gotcha games on a regular basis. I'm not taking any sort of advice about the games that I consume from DSP. This is the guy that outright said he would not play RimWorld. What I believe is legitimately one of the most enjoyable games of all time. He wouldn't have even bothered to learn the basic mechanics had he not been handheld. This guy does not have the gumption, nor the conviction or passion in order to even fathom the games that I could enjoy. I'm not taking advice from him, bro. Fuck you. Thank you, Broside Phil, for the 2, saying Street Fighter 6 has the best plot. The plot def isn't secondary. Oh, I agree. We loved the single-player story aspect of Street Fighter 6. Obviously, it was very meaningful for us. Thank you, Movie Sign, for the 5, saying, I may be alone, but it wasn't like there was no story. It wasn't as good as other games, but it was there. This goofball just wanted to hate on it. I agree. When I first started, I was like, oh, kind of nothing is going on. I play a little bit more, chapter 6 through 7, and there is something going on. It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. The voice acting is kind of whack, and it's nothing I haven't seen before, but it's fine. It's like, plot in a porno style scenario. You expect it to be there, but you're not really there for it type deal, right? I don't think that's a crazy expectation as somebody who really enjoys mechanics over something like story. And thank you, Skirt Cobain, for the 5. Canadian, saying, I can't imagine watching a stream where the streamer thinks the viewer is genuinely a weapons grade regard. I couldn't either, because why would you bother to entertain people you disdain? This seems very odd to me. I think you'd have to have kind of a sick or twisted mind in order for that to be your everyday and kind of justify it to yourself. But that's who DSP is. So thank you, Skirt Cobain, for the 5.
18 years I've been a content creator. I want you to compare the first 8 years versus the last 10. The first 8 years, it was masterpiece after masterpiece, groundbreaking new game, totally new genre, amazing story, breathtaking graphics, everything was great. And then the last 10 years has been, how do we monetize the shit out of the consumer? And hopefully a game comes out of it that's good. And because of that, most people are just happy to say, oh, Crimson Desert, 200 hours of content. Yeah, but is any of it actually good content? Or are you just happy that you got a lot of it and you get, quantity for your buck? I'm the kind of guy, hey, I'll play $50, all right, for a game that's 12 to 15 hours long, as long as the game is great. I'd rather play that than a 200-hour game that's incredibly disjointed, boring, repetitive, and just a waste of my time.
As long as the game is great, as long as it has a story that I can watch, like a movie for half of the runtime, of course I'll pay $50, and it'll be far less time. Obviously.
Crimson Desert is, in my opinion. You can disagree, and that's totally fine, okay? So I'm done with Crimson Desert. After tonight, oh, by the way, for the record, I played for like 50 minutes. The entire stream chats, both chats were bored, saying, wow, this game does suck. This is boring as shit. This is what they want Phil to do. This is stupid. Support was abysmal. We made like 20 to 30 bucks in the first hour, and no one cared about this game, and I said, I'm done with it. I really would rather do anything else than play Crimson Desert again. The game sucks. So I'm done with Crimson Desert. I'm really done with it this time. Don't ask me to go back to it. People stop showing up to support it. They don't like it. I don't like it. We're done with it. Stick a fork in it. It's done. No more Crimson Desert on DSP Gaming. Stick a fork in it.
It's done.
Done. Now, in regards to what we did for the rest of the night, we had an hour. And I was like, well, we can chill. I don't want to start a new game because here's the thing. Next week, we're probably going to start multiple new games, including Vampire Crawlers. We might try this Tomodachi Life game. But I don't want to do that tonight in only an hour. It's not enough time. So people were like, could you do some, like, maybe fighters and stuff? I was like, I want to do some retro fighters. We'll try.
Oh, yeah, of course. Let's do retro fighters. I just complained about wasting my time and being incredibly boring and saying that we didn't get anything accomplished and it wasn't rewarding and the narrative is bad. But yeah, let's go play an old school online fighter so that we can talk about how the netcode is bad and how people are abusing the game. Of course, that's the solution. That's the answer.
Right. So people said they wanted Third Strike. We played Third Strike for like a half an hour, 40 minutes, and then we jumped into Marvel 2 for like 20 minutes. It was hit or miss. I beat the living shit out of a ton of people in Third Strike. I fought one guy who used Urian's Aegis Reflector setup, and because you're playing online, you actually can't stop it. Like, as soon as he goes into Aegis Reflector, you're going to get hit, and you lose your whole life bar, and it's game over. So I could outplay him as much as I want, but the moment...
Is the rest of this daily rap about fucking fighting games?
Did 10 subs, so actually, it ended up being a pretty good supported stream. Even though it was a broken, busted,
I'm on a limited time. We're going to go to the next clip because it's 40 fucking minutes the following day crying about Crimson Desert.
The big segment that I'm going to do on this show I want to tell you all about.
By the way, not only did we do a 40-minute coping segment, but we also like pushed it off further into the pre-stream in order to give it its own segment. Like people were asking about it, and he was like, "Oh, guys, I'm going to explain," and then continued to talk about other topics first, so that he could, like, I guess, build hype to crying some more. Very odd behavior.
Experience with Crimson Desert. Now that it's officially done, you might say, "Well, what do I mean?" Well, I'm done with the game. I played it now for over 20 hours. I played it on launch day. I didn't really like it. You guys convinced me to go back. I played it another 15 plus hours.
You guys convinced me means you paid me money and said you would.
It's like, you know, I kept going back to the well because you guys kept asking me to, but last night it kind of finally hit the fan, if you know what I mean.
No, what do you mean by that, DSP?
So, I'll
what does
tell
it
you
mean
why,
hit the fan?
and I'll overall summarize my time with the game here today and give you my final thoughts as we move on. So that's good, right? I mean, it's funny because some people are like, thank God he's finally done with that thing. But other people still to this day are playing it, and they're like, oh, my 150-hour experience with the game. It's a weird situation because when you listen to different people talk about this game, okay?
Go ahead.
It's like people are playing two different games. It just really is. Some people are.
It's not like they're playing two different games, though. It's two different types of mentality when approaching playing video games. That's what it is. It's not two different games.
So infatuated
it's two different
and in
people.
love with the game's world, with the amount of content, with you know, just everywhere you go, you know, there's something new to do, right? And other people are just like so over it and saying it's overhyped, it's completely, you know, overpraised, that the game is just a retooled MMO. And that they don't understand how it could have sold so many million copies, except people are just dumb or ignorant or bandwagoners who love hype. And, you know, me playing the game, it's kind of somewhere in the middle. And what I mean by that is...
Of course. Now, what do I mean by that? Dude, every opinion DSP has is either in the middle or the most retarded thing you've ever heard. There is no other option. There's no third path on this one. Option A or option B. Retarded or completely unique and in the middle.
In a unique position where I can understand why there's some people that absolutely love this game. Really, like, I get it. I know why some people really like it. But from my unique perspective, okay, the way I see it, I don't see this being a game that for someone who makes content is something that's good for the long haul, unless you're one of these people who's so big it doesn't matter what you play. Does that make sense?
And by that, he means if you're an entertaining individual who has an audience that just is entertained by your being. That's what he means. That's what he doesn't have. That's what he's never been able to cultivate. And he also can't fucking articulate it either. He says it like he just did, or he often says things like, people watch you because you're big. You got big because you got big, and therefore you would just inherently have an audience, which doesn't make any sense on the face of it. But that's what he means, is that these people are entertaining characters, and they can just cultivate an audience anywhere.
I feel like the game is enjoyable for an audience. There's an audience for it, for sure. I get it, and we'll talk about it because we're going to get into detail about it here on the show today. But I just don't think it's a game that's going to really hold much interest for a viewing audience unless people are just there because they're there because you're already popular. Does that make sense?
Thank you, Skirt Cobain, for the 2, saying he knew that Crimson Desert would be a gaming journalist machine. Yeah, because all of the mechanics he'd have to engage with, it would obviously not be, you know, in his nature to naturally flow through them. Not without hand-holding, of course. Thank you, Skirt Cobain, for the 2. You're right.
I'm going to outline it, right? And we're going to talk about it. Now, I'm looking for a DSP tries it for next week. People have already suggested this new Korean chicken place that's right about a block away from me. But sadly, they're not up for delivery yet. I'm not going to drive there in person and then have idiots try to start problems in real life for everybody, because that's what they'll do. If anyone ever knows that I'm distinctly going to be somewhere, they'll probably try to do something anonymously to harass me or harass the business or whatever. And I'm not stupid, and I'm not going to do something irresponsible by saying, hey, everyone, I'm going to turn the stream off now and go to this business right now. Just asking for problems. So once they're on there and they're able to be like ordered from, then I will definitely,
guys, I can't go into real life,
get some food from there, but they're not on there yet. They're so brand new.
I can't go in real life to get food because somebody's going to call in a bomb threat. And look, he honestly should be paranoid. It is justified. He should be walking on eggshells all the fucking time. But to get on stream and openly tell your audience outright like this and be so aggressive and in your face about it is just It's not the right move. Also, his detractors are not really that bad. They're not the types to show up. They're not the types to cause problems in real life, or he'd have had a lot more problems than he has, right?
That I can't order yet. So we're looking for a DSP tries it for next week, and I'm not sure what to do.
But yeah, Mr. Nope, that's what you're getting called. Detractors have no power over him. But he always says that I can do whatever I want. I'm my own boss. It doesn't mean anything to me. These fucking idiots. My cash is still good. I can spend money however I want. People don't care in real life who I am. But if he goes in real life and anybody knows about it, apparently it'll be the actual end of the world.
Jay Freeze Bees did a $10 super chat. Says, thank God you quit Crimson Desert because you're playing it in the most boring way possible. You're not good at combat. You play like an old boomer. Bad. Get sushi for DSP tries it. It should be interesting. You know what's funny about people like this?
Thank you. Skullmaster, Master of Skulls, for the 5, saying, I'm envious of a man who can't walk down the street to get Korean chicken. Also, he's the master of his own destiny. Exactly. You're jealous that you're not terrified of going outside and being trolled. That you wish that was you. Thank you for the 5. Right. Skullmaster, Master
Every
of
time
Skulls.
I played Crimson Desert, people would say, you're playing it wrong. And I would say, how? Explain what innovative thing I'm supposed to be doing. What gameplay mechanic am I not understanding about the most washed, boring combat system I've ever seen in a game? What is it that I'm not doing? I'm using the stab. I'm using the shield bash. I'm using a ground pound. I'm doing combos. What am I not doing right? And every single—
Are you mixing in the suplexes with the dive kick style, and then you're hitting them with the bow, and then you're like using the arm thing to pull them in and slam them to the ground? Are you doing all of that too? Just a question. Or are we just using our sword and shield and we're calling it a day?
Single time that I would—
Because that's different. That's a different type of gameplay.
ask that, crickets. Because the only answer anyone ever gave me is, oh, well, the reason that combat, that you're not finding it rewarding is because you didn't upgrade your gear or you didn't put enough into health and stamina, which is all a lie. If you watch my playthrough, you'll see I was always upgrading my gear. I was always using the Abyss cubes to upgrade my stamina and health. And also I unlocked a bunch of combat abilities, which I was using.
But that can't be true. He might think that he was doing it all of the time, but if he had to pick up those fucking flagpoles like 4 times just to get them to the one pole to the one spot, he objectively could not have had enough stamina. Like maybe his skew of what is a lot and is a little is just not accurate
in the combat. The difference is I'm 20 hours into Crimson.
His health was 4 of 18. Yeah, that's a problem. What was his stamina? Does anybody know what his stamina was at?
Desert, and the people that really like it are 80 hours into Crimson.
Because I genuinely probably shouldn't leave the first few chapters, that first area of Hernand, without at least 200 stamina. It really is that vital.
Desert. So they grinded
if you
60
want to have
hours
fun
to overlevel themselves so they can just steamroll the combat. So to them, they watch me play and they're like, he's getting destroyed. It's because he's so weak. Yeah, because I didn't waste a month of my life playing the game to get to that point. I was waiting for something good to happen in the first 20 hours. I didn't want to waste 60 hours to become a god and crush everything like an ant.
I didn't want to engage with the mechanics to make my character stronger so that I could take on the bosses and larger enemies of the overall gameplay. So you didn't want to play the game? Just say that, bro. I didn't want to eat the fucking pellets to get my score up and eat the big ones to eat the ghosts. That's a waste of my time, dude. I was waiting for something cool to happen. Then why would you fucking put the goddamn quarters in, bro? What was the plan there? I genuinely don't understand the mindset. That's so stupid. They use Snortle Combat for the 2, saying, this fella using Comic Sans. Who's using Comic Sans? Oh shit, he is. Oh, that's awful. Thank you, Snortle Combat, for pointing that out. Big ups.
I just really love it. Everyone yelling at me saying it's my fault. Okay, explain how. And then there's crickets. No one can actually justify what they say about the game besides just kissing its butt blindly. Don't worry, because this is going to be a big segment of the show today, all right? Listen, I appreciate the $10 super chat, but I think we're going to agree to disagree on this one. And he's to get sushi for DSP tries it. I've already done sushi on the show. It didn't do well. When I got sushi, people thought it was incredibly boring.
Right, because you just eat it.
Because here's the thing with sushi, right? You can't get 20 kinds of sushi.
Again, DSP doesn't have the passion nor the articulation or vernacular nor vocabulary in order to make eating something interesting. He does not have it in him. He's not cut for it. If you don't actually know anything about flavors and the science of food, I don't think you're going to do a very good job reviewing or explaining what sushi tastes like, bud.
You can't. When you order sushi, you're getting an order of sushi, which is going to be a certain amount of pieces. Sushi is also
He ate
expensive.
sushi with a fork.
Like, let's say, for example, I went to a sushi
course
restaurant
he
near
did.
me, and I wanted to try 5 kinds of sushi. Each order is like $20. So I'm spending $100 to try 5 sushi rolls for you on DSP Tries It. And I've done it. And people said, wow, that's boring. So that's why I don't do sushi again, because it would be so expensive, and basically it's not interesting to the audience. You see what I mean? So listen to this. So now Jay Freeze Bees at a $2 super chat says, you're old and stuck in your ways, not explaining. So you're going to...
Based. King. I mean, look, giving him money to say that was fucking retarded, and you should be ashamed and think about your actions. Maybe repent a little bit. But what you said was based nonetheless. Yes, do not explain.
refuse to explain to me what I should have done to play the game better, because you don't know. Okay, thanks for $2. Because that's the truth. If you knew, you would have said something. But you don't know, because it's not true. That's the problem. Oh, yeah. Bonos Tecmo says...
DSP plays every game like a boomer, by the way. This concept of DSP playing like an old, just it's a natural understanding of what is his it's just a lack of passion, lack of energy. He's tapped out of the world, so he's not really relatable in any of those ways, which makes him feel ancient and out of touch, and that's how it's being described. He doesn't have any youth in him because he's an old, sequestered curmudgeon the way that he is. That's what they mean. But it's his life, and he can't understand that.
Magneto frame skipping was wild last night. Yeah. So for those who don't know, last night I was playing Crimson Desert, and I had enough. So we only played it for like 50 minutes, and we had like an hour left. And I asked people what they wanted, and I said, "What about some actual like throwback fighting games like you did on your birthday?" And I said, "All right, what do you want?" And people said Third Strike. So we played Third Strike for like 30, 40 minutes. Then we couldn't find anyone. Some people said some Marvel too. So I go to play.
Thank you, Skirt Cobain, for the 2, saying, give an Anwa a break, DSP. God, I wish he would. I mean, I guess he did, because he's off today and yesterday. I was so happy to see DSP not live yesterday so that I could get this stream up and at least have a little bit of time to watch the things before the divorce line.
In Marvel 2, and I play the guy who's the #1 ranked guy in Marvel 2 on PC, and literally the guy's a cheater.
Oh, he's
And what do I
back
mean by
today?
that?
No.
He picks Magneto, and he has a bad connection.
Damn.
So all he does is continuously wave dashes and presses buttons, and the game skips all of the animations. For those who don't know what a wave dash is, in Marvel 2, okay, you can dash by pushing 2 punches together. Now, there's a technique you can use that you can actually super jump cancel into an aerial dash, and basically you'll jump and dash downward, and it's basically an instant overhead. So the idea is with the faster characters in Marvel 2, you're trying to do instant overhead over and over to try to get people to block the wrong way, and then you get a free combo if it hits. Now, there's good ways around it. For example,
GTG already did a bunch of this.
You can actually absorb a hit.
It's just crazy that everyone is always cheating or abusing, but not DSP. Everybody is always playing at some weird advantage that he could never, and it's always like honorable on his end and dishonorable on theirs. He would never do anything like that. And he only plays the lower tier to mid tier characters so that he can always blame them for why he's doing bad as well, even if they aren't actively, the enemy doesn't have an advantage, or so he says.
And because he has that super armor
It's
mechanic,
insane.
you can absorb a hit and call out an assist and knock off the people who are rushing him down. It kind of knocks them away. Okay, it's not unbeatable. It's just a really good strategy in Marvel 2, where rushdown characters are very popular. The problem is when you're playing Marvel 2 on the online collection, it's what the Marvel. What's it actually called, actually? Because it's some convoluted
What's it actually
name.
called, actually?
It's called Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Arcade Classics. Okay, that's what it's called. In this collection, the netcode, because it's a rollback netcode.
Das Carrot asking me, didn't he abuse the shit out of Super Turbo last time he played against Evil AJ? I cannot actually tell you, because the second fighting games go on the screen, I turn the stream off. I don't even want to hear it in the background. So I couldn't tell you. Hopefully somebody in chat can, though.
Actually can't keep up with the game. So what happens is the person who's using the rushdown tactic can see and control the game properly, but you, if you're on the other end of it, on the other end of the internet, it skips all the animation. So all you'll see is Magneto here, and then he's hitting you. There's no animation of him actually dashing down and attacking. It just shows he's here, and then he's hitting you already. So you can't block. Like, there's literally no way to react and block because it doesn't show the attack. It just skips to the attack hitting you already. So this guy literally is the top-ranked player.
But he still chooses to play this, by the way. Like, we're gonna cry about all the ways that this collection is broken and it's unfair and people are abusing it online, but we're gonna continue to go back to it. We're gonna continue to bring it up every time that we have a free moment and we need a game to play, just so that we can continue to cry about it all fucking day. This is an active choice that this grown man is making. At some point, you just got to accept this is the way that it is and move on. Just, I believe the kid's calling this unnecessarily raising your cortisol levels or something.
In Marvel 2, and all he does is teleport all over the screen, skipping and getting free hits. The fuck is that? It's insane, because the guy, to be honest, isn't very good. Like, literally, he only hits you because the game doesn't respond with allowing you to do anything you should be able to do to stop the strategy. Yes, Rushdown is very effective in Marvel 2. It's very good strategy at pro levels, but you can block it. But not in this game. In this game, it's like, we just eliminated that. So what it becomes is just, you have to do Rushdown yourself, or you have to kind of like run away the entire time that you're playing, or else you can't ever win. And that was the thing. The guy would either do the Rushdown with Magneto, or if you beat his Magneto, then he just completely runs away the entire round with Cable. Like, literally, again, not really playing Marvel 2. I'm just playing keep away in lag. And I know that you can't really control yourself very well online.
Oh, okay. Now we're arbitrarily telling people how they have to play the online competitive game. They're not really playing the game because they're not playing how I would have, you guys. Just fucking crying all day long. All day. They're not playing how I would fucking play.
With Lax, I'll just run away and shoot beams and shit. Like, oh my God.
Another contribution to why he's an old
And the
head.
funniest part about it, okay, I was using my joke team that has BB Hood and Tronbon, and I was almost beating him, and I was using my Tronbon solo. Like, she was the point character, and she's not good as a point character. She's actually garbage. And I was beating the shit out of this guy's teams just with fucking Tronbon. He doesn't even know how to fight against Tronbon. He has no concept of how to play the game. He just learned how to abuse it online, and he's the #1 ranked player.
And he beat you. So the only stage, the only forum in which these games can take place is either in Fightcade or in this online collection, and he beat you on the latter of the two. So there's what are you gonna do about it? That's it. What's the point of talking about it if this is just the case? If you don't like it, don't play.
Anyway, yeah, it's pretty messed up.
I don't know what else to say, man.
Seriously. So, Princess Luna, how are you? Thanks for the $5 super chat. It seems like you weren't in a good mood yesterday. I hope you have a better day today. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I wasn't particularly in a bad mood yesterday.
I just feel like this is the kind of thing that you have to say to kids when they rage out in video games. It's like, dude, this is the way that the video game is. If you don't like it, don't play it. But you can't sit here and whine and cry about the fucking mechanics all day. This is silly.
Any reason? Here's the thing. I love Dragon Quest. I wish more people would come by and hang out and enjoy Dragon Quest with me. They don't. Like, for example, right now I have 240 viewers on YouTube, and I have, let's see here, 91 viewers on Kick, so around 350 viewers roughly, and I'll likely even have more by the end of the show. And if I were to start playing Dragon Quest right now, I would lose half that audience. They'd all leave. That's upsetting.
Yeah. What does that tell you?
Classic turn-based RPGs are a genre that I absolutely love, and I would play more of if I could get a good audience for it, and I can't. Like, people just won't stick around for it. They say it's too boring. They can't stand it, even though I love it. You know, some of the most meaningful playthroughs I've ever done, like Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger, those are throwback playthroughs of those games, and not being able to get an audience for it, it pisses me off. It does. It's disappointing. And then Crimson Desert, a game that I've expressed.
I couldn't imagine openly telling an audience, you guys, if I made a video or I did a stream and I was like, wow, I didn't really like how that one went. It didn't get the attention and the support, as if, there's some arbitrary number that I've said. I don't give a shit. But to come out here and be like, guys, it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. Therefore, I'm actually pissed off and angry about it. It's so self-centered and not entertaining and not endearing. It is absolutely counterproductive to the business and the likability of DSP to get up here and do this. And he chooses to do it every single time.
Multiple times why I just don't think it's a great game, but I understand why people like it. And I keep playing it, and every time I play it, I get more frustrated with it. I just had enough, I really wish yesterday I just done all retro fighters, because now what's happened is I played it for an hour, and now I'm craving more, and now I'm not going to get to play them for a long time. Like, I'm not. I have new games to cover and things to juggle and stuff. I'm not going to get to play classic fighting games again. So now I'm just going to have that craving, and I can't satiate it, right? So I was in
complete addict behavior, by the way. He tapped into his love, and he's got a craving. He's gonna be jonesing for it, fiending, if you will, to just play some more fighting games, and now he can't. Now he's being like, he's being taken off of his drug of choice, fighting games. Insanity, dude. Is not a normal person. Nobody talks like this.
In a bad mood yesterday, just in general, right? It was just kind of a day where I knew things weren't going to go great. I'm like, well, it is what it is. And it was crazy because that late stream, okay, Crimson Desert, I played it for an hour. No one cared. Everyone in the chat was complaining. They were bored with the game, stopped playing it. And then there was no support either. Like, it was a very slow stream up to that point. And then it was crazy because I started playing Retro Fighters, and then support started rolling in. And then last minute at the end of the stream, I guess I should say the former Dr. Lexus, because this guy changes his name all the time. He's actually my top ever Kick contributor. He dropped 10 subs at the end of the stream to actually make it a good stream for me. And I was like, oh God, like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be like another dud of a stream because Crimson Desert, kind of fizzled out, but then it ended up being a good one anyway. So it was just a weird day. Today will be a way more normal day. I do hope you guys are going to stick around for Mouse PI for Hire and for...
Thank you, Link, for reminding us the origin of this rant. I hope you have a better day. Is all somebody said. And he decided to go on and on and on about how everything is doing poorly and it's all of the game's fault all the time, but also your fault because you didn't tune in and support Dragon Quest. You fucking bums. But also, he was never really that upset, except for when he said he was upset people didn't tune into Dragon Quest VII, and that he was upset that Crimson Desert was a bad game and he wasted his time and it was a waste of his stream. But he wasn't upset, you guys.
Pragmata. Both games are good in my opinion. I'm enjoying them. We're getting past the halfway points of both today. So if you stick around, we should get some good progress.
I never got that
Pragmata
clip.
Okay. All right, guys, let's do it. Let's talk about Crimson Desert. So
hang on, before we talk about Crimson Desert, I did not go get the Pragmata clip. I'm gonna pig-splain it to you because I'm not going to now. He was playing the game and there was like a platforming section in like this weird cubular style world, and the platforms were moving, but because DSP is an old and his eyesight is that of a geriatric, he did not understand that the platform was moving and instead thought, like, I guess the FOV or depth of field had changed or something, and he died, and then he blamed the game. It was very cool and obviously entertaining. So there's your pig explanation of this very super cool Pragmata clip that you can find on Twitter somewhere. Or maybe someone else has it. I don't even know.
So, for the record,
I
when
hope
Crimson
you
Desert was
enjoyed the
announced and
explanation.
all the hype and hoopla around the game and its press and its, productional materials and everything to hype the game up before it came out, there was always a big question in mind. And the question was, the more you heard about Crimson Desert, the more you kept hearing about it has this and it has this, but does that mean that the game's going to have an insane amount of great content, or does it mean it's all going to be crammed in there, but it doesn't have a lot of meaning? For example, when you heard that the game was going to have this kind of combat, but then it was going to have mounts that you can ride, but then it was going to have traversal and moving around with these kind of like grappling hook floating mechanic, kind of like Tears of the Kingdom. But then it was going to have base building, but then it was going to have taking on a bunch of enemies, like taking over bases. But then it was going to have RPG story elements, and then it was going to have this, and then it was going to have that. Oh, it has fishing, and it has this. When you hear that a game has so many things in it, right? You have to...
By the way, all of the mechanics that he mentioned do kind of go together, aside from the base building. But I'm going to be honest, I don't know what base building is in Crimson Desert. I have 80 hours, and I'm like 13 chapters in, I think. I could check, but I'm not going to. And I have no idea what base building even fucking means. I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I wonder, is it going to be a jack of all trades and a master of none situation? Or will the game feel polished and refined and actually be a good gameplay experience? The fact that they were charging, full price for the game, you had to hope that the game was going to be good. But it's made by Pearl Abyss. This is a company that's made Black Desert, which is a MMO. And so going from MMO to single-player game is a big leap. So when this game came out, I actually cleared my schedule and I had a marathon day of playing it. My intention was to play it like 8+ hours in the first day that it came out to get a good taste of, what it would be. So that
gotta cash in on that new hotness. I swear to God, a year ago, we outright said we're no longer going to be playing new releases all day because they don't get the hype that they used to anymore, and people get bored, and he plays too much of it. And what if the people don't like it? Then it's a waste of a stream. And then all of a sudden, we just continued to do it over and over and over again with like every new release. We just continue to give them full days. It's very odd the way that we say things and then don't do them.
I could decide if I was
going to... The royal we, of course.
...to play it further or not. And if you go back and you look at that original footage from about a month ago from when the game came out, you'll see that I kind of jump into the game with the same kind of judgment that I do with any game. Is it, being fair, giving it a fair chance, and immediately I'm blown away by the graphics. The game itself has really good graphics, right? I would argue that its open world is absolutely gorgeous. The fact that it has these beautifully animated plants and flora is really cool. Every little turn and twist that you take, you can find something new, a hidden cave, a new settlement, a big castle, a kind of, new enemy or something like that. That's really cool. And the fact that it's one of those games where if you see it, you can get to it is also really neat. You could traverse the top of a high mountain, or you could go down into the actual Crimson Desert, and there's all these different climates and things to go to. Again, similar to, say, Tears of the Kingdom. That's probably its strongest point. And also, as the game starts to introduce these new elements to you of combat, of traversal, of puzzle solving, and things like that, the game is very interesting. Eventually, though, you get into what the gameplay loop is going to be, and you're like, this is confusing, because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing or if anything I'm doing is really meaningful.
So the game is bad because he's confused. That's the first negative that we come to when talking and discussing in depth our real and true feelings on Crimson Desert like this, in this format. The review style format, we'll call it. I'm confused, therefore the game is bad.
What I mean by that is the game is literally a sandbox, a giant open world where you could do anything in any order. You could choose to just follow the main storyline, or you could choose to do side faction quests, or you could choose to do nothing and just walk around fighting generic enemies, exploring, solving puzzles, finding gear, leveling up, and all of that is completely valid. It really is. But
yeah, it's kind of cool how you can just you could just enjoy the mechanics if you really wanted to and not experience the narrative at all. Weird.
For my day one experience, what ended up happening was I played for around 5 hours, and I was actually enjoying myself. And I said, all right, well, I explored a lot, but now what I'd like to do is actually try to make progress in the game and figure out exactly what mechanics will be in things such as the combat and stuff like that, because that's going to be a huge part of the game, right? And so I started doing a side quest where you had to do a takeover of a giant mining camp, and there was endless amounts of respawning generic enemies that you had to kill. Once you killed enough, the camp was considered taken over, but there was also a big boss fight that you had to do at the end of this mining camp. So
what's up with the air quotes on taking over? What is that supposed to hint? You do take over the camp. There's no air quotes about it. Like the way this guy uses air quotes is very frustrating because he doesn't know how they work or what they're supposed to indicate.
So
it's like a social thing that he picked up at some point and never really understood the mechanics of. Kind of like how he plays video games. Doesn't really understand how it works. He just knows that the button does a thing. Thank you, Crooked Hound, for the 5. Saying, I swear, no lie, this guy can conflate the premise and mechanics of Putt Putt Goes to the Moon, a classic, and make it sound like confronting heart surgery. Yes, just like he does with every task in real life. Everything is a Herculean task that only DSP was capable of, and if he wasn't, nobody was, dude. That's who he is. Thank you, Crooked Hound, for the 5.
Combat, to be honest with you, early on, is quite bad. It's hold either the shoulder of your controller or the trigger of your controller to do various auto combos. The auto combo kills an enemy. When you kill an enemy, you regenerate stamina, which allows you to turn to another enemy and do an auto combo on them. Every once in a while, if you're getting mobbed, you press the dodge button to get out of the way of the enemies. And if you have good timing, you can actually parry the enemies by tapping your shield button with the right timing, which then will let you get like a counter hit combo. And that's the combat of the game against normal enemies. Now, are there special moves? Sure. You can do a palm strike that knocks back enemies and stuns them. You can do a slamming punch from the air that knocks back a bunch of enemies. There's a dashing stab. But in reality, the combat is insanely repetitive. You're just going to be murdering waves of enemies, dodging every once in a while, and then murdering more by just holding down these buttons. You don't even have to tap them to do like a...
No, that's how he decided to play the game. He decided to not engage with the mechanics and have fun with them. He decided to not do the more free-flowing, multifaceted style of combat, of switching between all of the things and utilizing them in fun ways, because he doesn't actually care about having fun with the mechanic. The mechanic is a means to an end to DSP. It's purely utilitarian. He's not looking to... elaborate on the mechanic in any meaningful way, not to sound like DSP.
Combo with any kind of timing or skill, you just hold buttons, okay? So it's not rewarding. It's not fun. It's not interesting. It's actually very boring, okay? Now, on the flip side of that, when you actually encounter a boss in this game, the combat completely changes because every single boss in this game has super armor, which means you can't just be holding down the triggers or the shoulder to do auto combos because they're going to hit you through it. Okay.
Oh, so the harder enemies in the game make you change up how you play the game, and they're not as easy. This is a bad game design, guys. This is completely out of the realm of a normal gamer. They cannot even contemplate something like this. Bad game.
Okay. Now, in regards to
Wrong, they don't. They just block. Well, some of them block. Some of them do have attacks you can't power through, in which you could call it super armor, or you could say that it's akin to not being able to break their poise during an attack if this were something like Dark Souls. It's not an entirely unknown thing. Sometimes that is how video games cope with a boss being more powerful. But you just move around it. There's other attacks that you can do that they are more susceptible to that would kind of make up for that difference.
fighting bosses, there's a couple different ways that you can go about defeating the bosses in the game.
Yeah,
Okay?
he does want to
You can either
R1
go the
spam the
puzzle-solving
boss to
route,
death.
or you can go the brute force route. What does that mean? Well, when you fight a boss in
What
this
do I mean
game,
by that?
every boss is a little bit different. For example, there's bosses that are giant brutes who basically absorb all hits and can hit you for ginormous damage. Or there's bosses who may have special abilities where they like teleport around, and every once in a while you have to find the opening to try to hit them, or maybe you have to try to parry or counter them so that you can actually strike back. So
Okay, so sometimes you can have an outright one-on-one engagement and they're tanky and you kind of got to play around that. Or other times you have to be more agile and on the move in a more aggressive manner in order to, deal with the way that they're fighting. It almost sounds like there's quite a bit of variety here in the bosses, and that this shouldn't be stale if you have to utilize different combat styles in order to engage with the variety of bosses. It almost sounds like he's pitching a positive.
it is doable that you could learn a boss pattern and actually beat the boss. However, the bosses usually end up either being way over-leveled or under-leveled for you. Meaning, when you get to that first story boss, as long as you've been playing the game and, collecting armor and leveling it up at blacksmiths and things like that, chances are the first story boss is a pushover. But then if you go to the first optional fight in the game, which would be the boss at that mining camp that I mentioned, he's insanely strong and can kill you with 2 hits. So there's no real pacing or balance to the game. It's just kind of like, well, when you encounter a boss, hope that you've played long enough to level up your gear and stats so that you can beat it. And if not, well, if you can learn the one strategy to beat the boss, that's like solving a puzzle, good for you. And if not, well, leave, go play for another 10 to 15 hours grinding and getting items and leveling up, and then come back and just overpower the boss because now you're way more stronger than he is. So that's the way you go about boss combat.
That's an optional boss in an area that gives you a rather decent reward in the form of the mining drill that auto picks up the ores that when you go to mine them. It's actually a really useful tool to have. So it being gate kept behind a skill check is actually ideal. It really is a shame the way that constantly keeping the world to the player's level has completely mind broken entire swaths of the gaming industry. It's actually okay to come up against enemies you have no chance of ever defeating and having to come back later for a better reward. As long as the reward is worth it in the end. Morrowind works this way, and it's all the better for it. You might not like it at first. It might be frustrating, but I genuinely think that it is much more rewarding, and this is a type of this mechanic should exist in certain games. It shouldn't be just done away with because people like DSP exist and aren't good.
I hate to say it, it's just not satisfying in any way. Like when you play a game that has a tough boss, what you want to be able to do is on the fly, learn the pattern of the boss, counter the pattern of the boss, overcome, win, and then it feels rewarding. That's exactly the pattern that FromSoft games use. And not to say that every FromSoft game is the same, because you got a game like Dark Souls, which plays very different than, say, a game like Bloodborne with parrying, which is very different than, say, Sekiro with the timed blocks. They're all a little different. But the idea is you get to a boss, learn the pattern, overcome, persevere. You can't really do that in Crimson Desert, because everything is just a puzzle you need to solve once, and once you've solved that puzzle, you can beat it. For example, this first optional boss I fought, there's 2 ways to beat him. That's puzzle solving, either using the palm strike over and over to stun him and then get like a finisher on him, or if you use your sword, you can shine light in his face and he gets stunned and you can go do a combo on him. But that's it. Like, that's all you do to beat him. You don't actually learn his patterns or whatever. You just keep using the same tactic over and over, and then you overwhelm him and you're done.
But you had to have unlocked this mechanic, or at least be familiar enough with them to think of them in the moment and engage with them in such a way. I'm going to again compare it to Morrowind. When you walk into a dungeon and they're way over leveled and they're way more powerful than you, yes, you can get 1-shot, 2-shot and then be like, oh, I can't be here. Or you can go back in and try a different tactic that is going to yield a better result. Maybe you paralyze them this time, and the paralysis lasts just long enough that they don't even get an attack in. Therefore, you cannot be 1 or 2-shot, and then you win the battle and you get your sick reward. Games can be better for this exact mechanic. He's just too fucking stupid. He's not appreciating or understanding how these mechanics are working together. Like, in a behind the scenes kind of way.
Or you could overlevel yourself and just bully him. To me, that's not rewarding.
And Misery Merchant is right. This is also examples of the possible courses of action. You don't have to do this. No, you could beat the boss entirely with R1 spam if you're good enough. If you just don't get it, if you're that guy, you could do it if you wanted to.
To me, that's
He's just not him.
Okay, so the game didn't take the time to program in a good combat engine, and instead they gave you two different ways to kind of, flub your way through it. But either way, you're just kind of flubbing your way through it, and you didn't really learn anything. And therefore, when you beat a boss in this game, it never feels satisfying whatsoever, and that's kind of the problem. So, as I was playing Crimson Desert, and I encountered this, and I realized this is what it was going to be,
Lobos Jr.
I got disappointed.
Not at
because
all.
The open world is gorgeous. The graphics are great. There's a great puzzles and interesting levels of discovery. But once you get to the combat is by far the absolute major shortcoming of the game. So if that's the case, why are there so many people who are saying they love Crimson Desert, right? That Crimson Desert is like game of the year contender, and oh my God, it's the best game in 100 years. Here's what I think is going on, and you can disagree, and that's totally fine.
I'm going to. But inevitably, even if DSP had the most base take here, and said everything that I agree with, the way that he would say it would be disagreeable. He would wind up conveying the exact correct opinion in the wrong way for the wrong reasons. It's almost guaranteed that he will always be disagreeable. And it's not out of pure spite for me. It's because he has this talent. Zero Raven Knight with the 10 saying this complaint is so stupid. This is literally how an RPG works. How is this such a bad thing? I don't understand him here. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, he doesn't enjoy games or understand them in the same way that other people do at this point. Like, maybe gacha games really did fry his brain so fucking bad it's irreparable that he literally cannot connect to video games at the same level. That sounds like an exaggeration. That sounds like I'm making things up, like it's hyperbole, but I really don't know any other way that this could be, like, this stupidity could be justified.
In my opinion, and in my 18 years as a content creator on the internet,
Zero Raven.
I have kind of a unique
brother.
perspective coming into this situation, okay? So I've been making gameplay videos of video games since 2008, all right? And I can distinctly tell you that there have been two different kind of time periods that I've been making content. There's the first...
I'm sorry, did he say that he's been playing games since 2008?
...creator on the internet. I have kind of a unique perspective coming into this situation, okay? So I've been making gameplay videos of video games...
Oh, okay, sorry. Making gameplay videos,
since 2008, all right? And I can distinctly tell you that there have been two different kinds of
exactly. That's why I had to confirm that we weren't just playing games. Because if he was only playing games since 2008, and that's his big claim here, like, I got you beat out, brother.
...periods that I've been making content. There's the first 8 years... from 2008 to roughly around 2016-ish. And then there's been the last decade of 2016 to 2026. And I can tell you definitively and without hesitation, my first 8 years as a creator, video games that were coming out were constantly innovating, constantly of high quality. Yeah. They were breaking ground. They were culturally relevant, first-time, breathtaking experiences that were meaningful. And what I mean by that is I couldn't tell you how many times that there was a bold new move, that a franchise was being created, and it was something different. Mass Effect.
Again, DSP describing these games in a very positive way. I agree. Video games used to be really super cool and fun, and it used to be a good time. I agree. En masse games were just... they had this charm to them that they don't have anymore. I'm blaming big money, by the way. I'm blaming the stock market. Okay, I'm blaming investors. Thank you, One Testicle Man, for the 1,000 Huff, saying over-leveling is just not for me, says the guy who beat Demon Souls at level 97 after cheating, allegedly. Yeah, it's so funny how the narrative sometimes, like the arcs or whatever DSP cycle we're going through, can kind of have this weird intertwining at times, making the narrative all that more complex and intricate.
Thing to take.
Thank you, One Testicle Man.
Like almost like Star Trek-esque game lore, and turning it into an action-based RPG with dialogue choices that matter and actually affect the outcome of the game. Uncharted, attempting to actually make a franchise that feels like interactive Indiana Jones. Okay? I could keep going. BioShock, right? A first-person shooter that brings in innovative story elements with awesome graphics and gameplay. really unique experiences, okay? And at this era, this first 8 years that I was a creator, it was like hit after hit, banger after banger, and there were big AAA studios that you could always rely on, that when they pumped out a new iteration of a game, whether it was a new IP or a brand new spanking sequel to the game that you loved from a year or two ago, it was always good. You could say, hey, I feel...
This is also at a time when, like, not that there weren't video games out. There was plenty of video games by this point, the mid-2000s or whatever, but there wasn't such a standard. There wasn't such a quantity of video games. There wasn't so many things vying for your time, that the expectations of video games were also just kind of different. They weren't all bangers, don't get me wrong. But at this point...
good investing my money in this game because I'm going to get a great experience. But what's happened is times have changed. And after that 8-year, almost like gaming renaissance period, what happened was games started to try to follow formulas in order to print money. And what I mean by that is you got to look at games like Grand Theft Auto Online. You got to look at games like Fortnite. You got to look at games where...
No, you're not wrong.
They became culture.
Like I said, it's not every single fucking game from the mid-2000s was a banger. A lot of them are actual dog shit and might only offer 1 or 2 interesting things in total. But like I said, the landscape was different, dude.
Really relevant. Not necessarily because the games were groundbreaking or great, but simply because everyone was playing them. Does that make sense? GTA Online doesn't really innovate that much. There were already games before GTA Online that did very similar things.
Yeah, like Red Dead Online. I mean, there's other examples, but like GTA 4 Online, kind of. Like, it's not the same thing, but to the same scale, I don't really think so.
And there's tons of games that tried to copy that virtual community social experience after as well. But GTA Online has been the game over the last, at this point, almost 15 years, right? That has been the money printer for Rockstar. People keep going in, playing with their friends, buying the virtual currency, buying the virtual items in the game, spending so much, it single-handedly kept the company afloat for over a decade. And everyone else wanted to be a piece of that pie. They wanted to get that taste of the money train, okay? Take a look at Fortnite, a game that wasn't even supposed to be a battle royale game. It was supposed to be a tower defense zombie game, but they decided last minute, Epic Games that is, to change the formula to be something that bandwagoned on another genre that was already popular.
What the fuck does any of this have to do with Crimson Desert? We're talking about live service games right now in regards to a single player RPG, action title that came out the other month. What is this? Yeah, actually filibustering.
And because they added in
this is just grandpa yapping.
Cartoony look, crafting mechanics, and ended up getting licensing for all the big IPs out there, it became the most culturally relevant game ever, right? Fortnite is mainstream in a...
Scrappy CC with the tube asking, why did he continue the vest streak? Because it printed money, obviously. It kept the people coming back and kept the DSP business afloat single-handedly. It's right when he does it, but it's wrong when they do it.
No other game has even been mainstream besides maybe Minecraft before it, and it's so profitable. So what ended up happening is, in the last decade, gamers did not get as many memorable gaming experiences as they used to. Even franchises that were tried and true hits, like I just mentioned, Mass Effect, ended up coming out with games like Mass Effect Andromeda that were watered-down versions of their former selves that tanked. Or hell, take a look at the recent Dragon Age Veilguard, a tried and true series that every game had been a hit up to then, and then this one flops, right? So that's what's happening now, is all of these big games that have been coming out recently end up being underwhelming, end up being either going in a direction people don't want because of its narrative or political reasons and agendas, right? Like culture war stuff. Or they're just not very good anymore. It seems like these big companies that used to always pump out the great experiences are a shadow of their former selves. Maybe the good employees have moved on or whatever. So when
they didn't move on, they were removed because the good employees wanted to make good games, and they are not interested in making good games. They're interested in making money printers. That's the answer. That's why I blamed the big money. That's the answer, I believe. Truly.
No longer have that big trusted amount of companies making great games. Other people step up to the plate, and it's actually in the last few years it's been...
Yeah, he also was talking about AAAs, and it is framing this in such a way that people aren't getting the same quantity of meaningful experiences anymore, because these AAA studios aren't doing what they used to do because they've moved on to printing money instead. That's just not true either, though. This is DSP's limited scope of the gaming landscape in the modern day, up until his recent interest in indies or whatever, which even then is barely existent at all. You can tell by the way he's unwilling to give most games that don't look a certain way a chance. It's just the whole framing is wrong.
Indie companies that have actually stood up and started to hit it on all cylinders, right? Smaller scale indie games that have really blown it out of the water, right? Companies like making Silk Song, or former devs who used to work for Ubisoft leave the company and then they go and make a big, humongous, successful game like Expedition 33. So the biggest games are not coming out of the big tried and true studios anymore.
Tried
and so when you
true.
hear, oh, this company that made Black Desert, an MMO, they're going to make a single player game, and look, it has all these elements of a game that you would want from a AAA studio, you're like, oh, I'm intrigued. Is this going to be good or not, right?
Okay, we're back to Black Desert,
so
guys,
or
Crimson Desert.
You
We're
invest
almost
time and
there.
money in, and they end up being underwhelming. They end up being, it's all right, experiences. Well, I think what happened with Crimson Desert is you've got a game that, yes, you play full price, but you're going to get so much content, overwhelming amounts of content in the game, that never do you really realize that anything you're doing in the game is very meaningful. And what I mean by that is, compare Crimson Desert to any of the big games of that first 8 years that I was a creator. Can you tell me that the actual story, the actual traversal, the actual puzzle solving, anything that you're doing in this game is so amazingly, groundbreakingly cool that you have moments in your head that resonate and you're like, wow, I'm never going to forget that. That was really memorable. And, I'm so glad that I played Crimson Desert.
It's okay. A couple of points here. Games don't have to be groundbreaking to be good. This is another thing that he gets hung up on all of the time when he does these rants about video games that he does or doesn't enjoy. He does it for both, honestly. It doesn't have to be the some brand new concept no one's ever seen before. It just has to be fun and enjoyable. This is DSP not being able to enjoy games. He can only see the flashiness of the new mechanics and the new hotness. He doesn't actually understand that he's supposed to enjoy it when he engages with it. Also, that kind of comes with the territory of an industry coming like more into age. Like, it's not necessarily harder to be groundbreaking. There's always new things to do, but having that more things have been done, there's kind of less things to do, if that makes any sort of sense.
For me, the answer is no. In the 20-some hours that I played Crimson Desert, I never had a single jaw drop.
Like, before they ever made a third-person action game, it was easier to be groundbreaking in third-person action games. Every mechanic you did was now groundbreaking because the genre didn't exist. But now that we have tons of third-person action games, it's obviously harder to do more groundbreaking mechanics. You'd have to be more creative to think of what hundreds of thousands of other people haven't thought of yet. But anyway, Maximus, thank you for the 5, saying, saw gameplay when it came out of someone using a goddamn tree to terrify bandits with. Already became a memorable game, and I haven't played it yet. Well, I beat a boss by crushing him with concrete pillars from around the stage. That was how I was doing the most damage. That was a good time. That boss is memorable to me because I beat his ass with pillars exclusively. It was a good time. So I'm glad it's memorable for you in a similar way, and you didn't even play it. And Jordan Fadeaway with the 6 months saying, been watching Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and DSP looks like Carl's younger brother. Anyone else notice this as well? Now, I'm not familiar enough with Aqua Teen Hunger Force in order to say that. I've never seen Carl's younger brother, I guess is what I should say. I've seen Aqua Teen Hunger Force, of course, but not all.
Oh my God, first time
Someone let me
ever,
know if this is
culturally
true.
relevant moment. Instead, it was like, okay, so they're kind of doing this here, and they're kind of doing this there. This is
He
from
does?
this game,
Okay,
this is
I
from this
believe
game, it's
you.
taped
Jody
together.
Taint would
All
never lie to
but why
me.
am I doing this? And ultimately, that becomes the big question for me when I'm playing a game these days. Why am I doing this? Is there a story that's riveting, that's keeping me going? Is there a gameplay element that I'm addicted to that I want to keep going back?
Addicted to. I have to be addicted to the gameplay elements in order to enjoy the game and continue to play it. An actual addiction must be formed, or it's not good enough. It's not meaningful enough.
You don't need a good story for it to be a good game. And I actually think this has been one of the big things of contention about Crimson Desert, is that people are like, well, the story sucks. And then other people, big creators, have come out and said, the game doesn't have a story. Act like it doesn't. Even though it does, act like it doesn't, because that's not the focus. The focus of the game should be the overwhelming amount of content in the world that's created in the sandbox environment. That's what you should be sucked into and immersed in, okay? That's all well and good. But if it's just gameplay for gameplay's sake, then that's only going to appeal to a certain kind of audience. Do you see?
Okay. And that's fine. That's okay. RPGs, I don't know if you know this, only really interest people that are interested in RPGs. And that's okay. That's fine. We don't have to throw a tantrum about it and say that this game is ass cheeks and total slop and that nobody should be enjoying this and fuck you, Pearl Abyss, because you made a shit game that wasted my time. We didn't have to do all of that. We could have stopped the conversation here, and we would have had a much more positive outlook, I think. Thank you. Thank you, Ultimaterial. Goddamn it. Ultimaterializer. I got it. For the 5. Saying he hates Crimson Desert because his chat can't hold his hand through it. You have to actually get good at the game to beat the harder stuff. Yeah, you have to engage with the mechanics and understand how they work. And if you can't do that in a very quick and efficient way, live like that, you have to have the brain for it. Thank you for the 5, of course. And Johnny Rico for becoming a member of the Skeleton Gang, the 60 Skulls. I appreciate it. Big ups.
Because there's people who play games for different reasons. There's some people who play games for challenge. There's some people who just play games to chill. There's some people who actually are super professional about it. And there's others who just come home from work or school. They turn on their console or their PC for an hour or 2 a day and they gel, right? They vibe. They're just, I'm unplugged from the world, man. So everyone goes into gaming for something different. But ultimately, there are culturally relevant games that just seem to hit it for everyone. And I think this is the reason why Crimson Desert is like a must-play game of the year experience for some. And for others, they play it, they're like, meh, I don't get it. I really don't understand what the big deal is. For me, I land somewhere in the middle. And the reason I say that is, there's times when I'm playing Crimson Desert and I'm exploring and wow, look at this amazing vista that I'm standing on. You can see the view of the world and all these towers out in the distance. And I'm up here solving puzzles and stuff and it looks really cool and it feels awesome. And then there's other times when I'm forced to go into a camp and kill repetitive enemies and there's a boss that's just a stupid slog of a boss and I'm bored to fucking tears.
There's parts of the game where I'm enjoying it passively and just looking at all the pretty lights and flashing doodads. And then there's other times where I have to fucking engage with this bullshit they call video game mechanics. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, where you actually have to play the game and understand the buttons and what they do and how to utilize them. I hate that part of the game. That part fucking sucks. DSP just wants to watch a fucking movie and press X to win and choose left or right or whatever the case is. He wants a Telltale game. His ideal game is that.
So for me, it's that mixed bag kind of a feeling. I don't really detest and hate the game at all times, but I'm also not in love with it either. I can understand why some people like it, but I just don't get why people are hyping the game the way they are. All right? So...
Thank you, Johnny Rico, for the 5. Saying, remember his perfect game if he had the choice. Every mechanic, every game style ever made. Yes, from all the IPs with all of the characters, and they do everything. That's how you know that DSP doesn't actually have any sort of understanding of the way that games work or the games industry or how you sell things to people. Or he just wants an all of everything game all of the time because, of course, then everyone will buy it. Duh. It's business 101.
The best way that I can describe it, and I know some people are going to disagree with me here, and I know
we should do that. The same thing with food. A food cube. It's all of the foods all at once with all of your nutrients for everyone, and everyone will love it. And it'll have all your favorite characters as wrapping on the outside. All your favorite IPs, so you can enjoy your fucking slop.
some people are actually going to be frustrated, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. All right. I respect your opinion if you like Crimson Desert, but now please listen up to mine. All right. When I play a game, as I get older, okay, more and more, I'm looking for an experience that's memorable, that stands out, and is worth my time. Okay. For example, if I'm going to go out somewhere to eat and have a meal out with my wife, I would much prefer to go to a place where maybe, all right, it is a little more expensive. Maybe it's a shorter experience, but it's high-end food. So, for example, I'd rather...
It's a shorter experience? How the fuck is that relevant to your dining experience? What does the length of the meal have to do with your enjoyment of the fucking food in the restaurant? Just genuine question. Has anybody ever fucking gone to a restaurant, sat down, ate their food, walked out, and went, you know, honey, that food was actually fantastic. And it was kind of expensive, but you know what? It wasn't very meaningful because we didn't sit in there and fucking loiter for an hour. We were in and out in 30 minutes and our food was done and on time and great. Therefore, it's a 2 out of 5. I would never go back to this place. Are you fucking retarded or something? No one has ever said this. It's not ever been taken into consideration when fucking addressing the dining experience. Look, if your food takes too long and you're there too long, I could understand that coming into play. But being there too short has never fucking ever been on the docket, like as a thing you have to check for. That's insane.
To go pay for seared halibut and a filet mignon steak and, you know, courses of good food, then say, go to an all-you-can-eat buffet. Does that make sense? For me, as I get older, my time is more valuable. I don't have time to just invest endlessly in game worlds to sit here for 80 to 100 hours. I don't have a time when I'm playing a game and I hit a boss and I can't beat it to be told, well, you got to leave for 10 hours and grind, get better gear, level up your health, level up your stamina, then come back and fight the boss. I don't have time for that shit. I want a game to be good now. I want to have meaningful experiences now, and I want my time to feel like it's well invested. So if I'm going...
So DSP is not your average gamer. He needs to stop shilling the average Joe gamer, the everyman that really understands video games and tells it like it is. He doesn't have the same expectations. He doesn't have the same circumstances surrounding it. The games that he will enjoy essentially have to be conveyor belt built. They have to be able to just be fast tracked through linear yellow paint, literally, in order for DSP to enjoy them based on his arbitrary time constraints to the schedule that he has made. So this is a completely invalid review to anybody that doesn't share DSP's life schedule. So it's a piece of useless content, just inherently, based off of the parameters that we've set in order for this review to make sense. Thank you, Manolo Azul, for the 13 months, saying his insistence on relevance and remaining meaningful. His insistence on relevance and remaining meaningful time sounds like DSP is at death's door. Yeah, well, look at him. He kind of is, isn't he? You can't drown your brain in gin for so long and not understand and not expect ramifications. Okay, might be the most reasonable thing DSP's done in a while, to be honest. Skirt Cobain with the 2 saying, I have to grind in an RPG? This is bullshit, dude. Yeah, this is coming from a JRPG fan, by the way. This guy loves old Final Fantasies, but isn't actually interested in engaging the mechanics to grind and actually see the later game stuff. But he's the biggest fan, and he's really sad you guys don't support Dragon Quest.
Out to eat, I want to have the high-end gourmet experience when I'm going out and paying top dollar. Now, I could easily go over here to Old Country Buffet, and I could spend $25 and sit there eating slop all day, and it's all you can eat slop, right? And you're going to have people, when you're at Old Country Buffet, who are going to come up to you and argue with you that all that food is good. They're going to say, dude, are you kidding me? That mac and cheese is so good. Did you have the chicken fried steak? Did you have the spaghetti? Did you have this all-you-can-eat salad? Oh, I love it. Old Country Buffet is my absolute best place to eat because it's endless amounts. To which you can say, it's true. You get insane value for your dollar when you go to Old Country Buffet and you get all you can eat. The problem is, it's all slop. It's low grade. It's not cooked well. It's not gourmet. It's just heat lamp food. It's a bunch of meaningless heat lamp food. It still fills your guts, so it still uses your time, but it's not necessarily good for you.
And this is such an odd take from DSP because he is king consumer. He strikes me as the exact type of person that would just, they want to go to the Old Country Buffet or whatever buffet and eat the lamp food, and because he is the type that wants to own nothing, eat the bugs, and be happy. That's who he is. He's the ultimate consumer, and he doesn't actually care about the state of things as long as he can continue to get more and more and more. He's the ultimate glutton. It's all of the greed. So it's so odd to me that he would simultaneously have a big enough ego to think that he deserves gourmet food, as he calls it, when it's literally just the same fucking slop restaurant tier that everybody else has from the same frozen fucking places like everyone else has in the United States. Insane. Thank you, One Testicle Man, for the 400 huff, saying, remember Baldur's Gate 3? It sucked. It was too long. True. Like these restaurants. They're too long. Thank you, One Testicle Man. And Johnny Rico with another 2, saying, talking on both sides of his stroke mouth. Pretty normal day for DSP, obviously.
If you go to the gourmet restaurant, it may be more expensive, and it may be a shorter experience. You're going to eat less, for sure, but you're going to be getting actual handcrafted, well-designed, refined experience.
Well-designed.
You're going to get flavors and things that are going to pique your interest, and it's going to be once in a lifetime that you get to taste that. And that's what gaming used to be. When you went and you bought a big AAA game that was $60, you were getting a handcrafted, high-end, top-of-the-line gaming experience. Something that was meant to be relevant, that you would remember forever in your mind as a gaming memory that would stay with you. A game that you would then later on compare other games to and say, did it live up to this previous game that I've played? The problem is there's so few. Just
once again, another, I think, insane expectation for every game to have some sort of remarkable memory that you're going to hold in your mind for literally the rest of your life and always recall back to and compare it to other games. Not every game can be that, and if that's your prerequisite for a game being good, you're fucked. You're absolutely cooked. you're going to be living in dissatisfaction for basically ever, all the time, because it's a good thing that that's actually a very few and far between experience that really only happens, I think, with some of the best games that you wind up ever playing. I think if you're expecting this all of the time, your expectations are absolutely insane.
Of those gaming experiences in the modern day, people forgot what good games are. For so many people, a good game is simply a game with a lot of content. Oh, I spent $70 on Crimson Desert, and I can spend 200 hours in this gaming world. Okay, what's your favorite point of the story? What's your favorite camp that you took over? What's your favorite puzzle? In fact, when you ask people, what is it that you like about Crimson Desert? Most people don't have a definitive answer. They just say, oh, I keep discovering new things and there's more content. Okay.
It's fun. That's the answer that I usually hear from people that are playing Crimson Desert around me, is that they're having fun. Which, if you talk to people, and maybe this is just my experience because I hang around some negative style individuals. Surprise, surprise, a detractor hangs out with negatives. That's not a slur, by the way. A lot of people play games that they don't necessarily find the most fun. So if fun is something that you could use to describe a game and you're playing it, honestly, you're kind of already ahead of a lot of people that are playing games.
But what exactly is it about the game that is resonating with you besides the fact that you have so much content for the dollar? Again, you went to Old Country Buffet, you spent the flat rate, you're getting unlimited amounts of content, but it's slop. It's not coherent. It's not meaningful. It doesn't hold a candle to the good games of yesteryear. But hey, you got a lot of value for your dollar. You didn't get ripped off. Hey, the game isn't trying to hit you with a ton of microtransactions or season passes or stupid scheduled releases that keep you coming back and spending more money.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's a great thing to see in a single player game. It's a shame that that's something you have to praise in a single player game now. But yeah, that is a pretty cool aspect, DSP. Thanks for pointing that out. Thank you, BMAC, for the 5, saying, I really wanted to know what mind-blowing experience he had in WWE Champions. Well, I could tell you the mind-blowing experience he had is that it was completely out on the internet and fundamentally changed his entire relationship with the internet, I believe, in some aspects at least, right? That's the fun and memorable experience that he had.
Therefore, the game's just good, right? Yeah, but okay, I get that. And there's going to be people that's all they're looking for. When they spend money on a game, all they want is endless content that they can go back to and say, the value is there. And I'll agree with you. The value is there with Crimson Desert. There's so much to do in the game. But if none of it is coherent, if none of it is meaningful, because as people say, well, it doesn't really have a good or meaningful story, then why are you playing it? Simply to kill time? Well, I got news for you. There's other things you could do with your time that are going to be better for you.
You could say this about every single game all day long, every day, from the beginning of video games, probably to the end of video games. This is not an argument. This is a nothing statement.
Intoxicating innocence.
Thank you, Redbird, for the 20 months, saying drink every time he says slop. Water, of course. Yes, it is Sunday. No, it's Saturday. Fuck. It's Saturday. Don't start drinking too early. I know you guys got a big night ahead of you. Very busy. Lots of women. Lots of social interaction, I'm sure. So don't start too early now.
You can have actual IRL hobbies rather than just sitting in a virtual world of Crimson Desert for 2 hours, and they could result in actual real-life skills and improvements to your actual life rather than sitting in this virtual one. Okay? Just being honest, there's things you can do better with your time than spend 200 hours in Crimson Desert to then
20
say,
minutes
I'm done
to
with the game,
divorce
say,
line.
well,
You're
I don't
right,
remember
Samurai.
anything.
You're right.
And I think this is what a lot of people have lost in modern society is I found something to waste my time on. Hey, look, it's a mobile game. And trust me, I know a lot about spending time and wasting time and money in mobile games. So I'm an authority on this one. There's a lot of people who I just want to do this. Okay, well, this is the best game ever.
It doesn't make him an authority on it, though. It makes him a victim of the circumstances, but it doesn't mean he knows anything about it. It doesn't mean that he understands the way that it rewires your fucking brain chemistry or taps into the dark triad or however you want to call it. Just because he fell victim to it, he was subject to. That's not how that fucking works. Imagine going to prison and then being like, yeah, I'm an authority on how the law works. Just because you stabbed a guy and got thrown in prison does not make you an expert or an authority, brother.
Right? And it's mindless and it's meaningless. There's no point to it. Crimson Desert is the slop of modern gaming. Now, here's the thing. There's an audience for it, and that's okay. Millions of people have bought it, and that's fine. But if you say that Crimson Desert is a Game of the Year contender, over a handcrafted gaming experience that has a story, that has meaningful, groundbreaking content in it, you're actually doing the industry a disservice. And the reason is because when everyone jumps on a bandwagon, the industry follows because it chases the money. All right?
Okay.
I want you to take a look at Grand Theft Auto Online, and I want you to take a look at Fortnite and how the success of those two games has single-handedly changed the direction of the gaming industry in the last 10 plus years.
But he just admitting to spending a fuck ton of money and a fuck ton of time wasted on a mobile game. And he's going to try and, educate other people on why they shouldn't be playing a single player, RPG or whatever, simply because he didn't like this story. That's genuinely who is going to try and justify this now. This is that guy. I would argue that I would much rather prefer people just support bad single-player games that I don't find entertaining than actual fucking mobile gacha. I'm not gonna lie. It seems like there is a lesser of two evils here, and it's not the side that DSP is arguing for right now.
Every major AAA company is now chasing the games as a service model, all right? Now, to be honest, the model is collapsing on itself. It's not working anymore. So now you have a game like Crimson Desert that comes along. No real story. Nothing really excels whatsoever. In fact, most of the game is straight up lifted from other games and just glued and taped together. It really is an all-you-can-eat experience, but it's all slop. But everyone praises it. And if you don't like the game, you've got major creators coming out and telling you you're doing it wrong. How dare you not like Crimson Desert? How dare you approach it with the same criteria and judgments of quality that you would apply to other games? You are wrong. You should be liking it simply because it has so much quantity. Well, I'm sorry. Maybe I just like better things.
I like better things. LOL. The gotcha addict says. But this is not what the sentiment was online anyway. There was people that were enjoying the game, and in their reviews and the way that they talked about the game, they just recommended that you approach it with a different mindset, because a lot of people are so accustomed to follow the yellow line or the yellow paint or the objective marker, expect a linear story with a lot of cutscenes that you're going to be watching, and everything explained to you in handheld, and all of the mechanics are going to be very basic, means to an end style like DSP is used to. They recommended not approaching the game in that way. The same way that I would recommend not approaching a game like RimWorld with the intent of beating it or, progressing to X point or Y. I wouldn't recommend approaching the game like that, because you might wind up being disappointed when it doesn't all go your way and it's a little more than that. No one was saying you had to enjoy the game and you had to compare it to, or you had to have these criteria. That's not what happened. He's obviously framing this weird narrative so that he can be the savior. He can be the truth teller, the Mr. Honesty.
Maybe I realize I'm getting older and I don't have time to waste on shit that doesn't have a meaning behind it anymore. I want more memorable experiences and I want more useful use of my time, because as I get older, I have less of it left. I don't have time to spend 200 hours in Crimson Desert when I can play 5 to 6 other games in that time frame that I'll have more memorable experiences with. Maybe that's not the case for you, and that's okay. And that's why it's okay to agree to disagree. But there's so many people out there that are polarized about this game and saying things like, well, Crimson Desert's the best game ever, game of the year, and if you don't get it, you're playing it wrong, and you have the bad opinions on this. No, not everyone is the same. But the point I'm making here is, if we act like Crimson Desert is the best game of all time, you will get 400 more games that are insane amounts of content and none of it meaningful. You're going to get 20 more GTA Onlines and 30 more Fortnite clones, because that's how the industry follows. They chase the money. So seeing that this game sold millions and millions of copies, everyone's going to follow suit. Oh, get another slop game out there. Slap everything together. Look, we have everything too. We have everything too. Buy our game. Buy our game. That's how they work. None of these companies have creativity anymore.
And again, I would argue that if we're getting away from live service in this aspect, if we're going back to making more single-player games and we're willing to try and be a little more mechanically in-depth, I would argue that this would be a good direction for video games to start heading. I really want to see the death of live service, of the battle pass, of seasons. I want to see the death of all of it. That's what I want. So this is actually DSP confirming to me that more people should be playing Crimson Desert, I guess. If everything the DSP says is true, and we have to take his fucking words as law, and this is the way that it's going to be, thank fucking God, dude.
They follow the money. So if that's the case, and if that's what you want, go for it. Kiss the game's butt. Say it's the best game ever. But I'm warning you. Consequences have actions, pimp. If you say Crimson Desert is so good, you have to understand that's going to actually change the industry opinion on what's good in a game. I'm sorry, but for 8 years, I had these groundbreaking games all the time that I love. And now for the last 10, they all kind of went away. Well, I don't want the industry to change for the worse because we all want to keep eating at Old Country Buffet rather than eating a 5-star Michelin star gourmet meal over here that's a life-changing experience. And for the record, it's for the same price tag. $70 game here, $70 game there. I'd much rather play a 12 to 20-hour game that's a resonating, once-in-a-lifetime experience that's truly original than play a 200-hour slop game that costs the same amount of money.
And by truly original resonating game, he means it has a story that hasn't been told before, which I would argue is honestly like none of them at this point. I'm a firm believer that human beings only tell stories like 100 different ways, and they're all kind of reiterations of the same story. And I find a lot of them very unoriginal and uninspired for this reason. I'm a cynic in that way, but not DSP. If you just put a new coat of painting on a story all the time, DSP's gonna eat that shit up instantly. It's just he wants to watch the cutscenes, dude.
That's my opinion. You disagree? That's okay. We agree to disagree. But I'm telling you, this is where it's coming from. This is why a game like this, I just can't really enjoy. I'd much rather play anything else right now than Crimson Desert. All right?
Yeah, that's
So
what I was looking for, an archetype.
If you like Old Country Buffet, I hope I haven't offended you. I've been there too, and I had a couple of good experiences at the place. I've also had some bad experiences at the place, because at the end of the day, it's all just heat lamp food. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make about Crimson Desert. Even though you might like some of the things in there and how much you're getting, at the end of the day, it's just overcooked garbage. It's not good for you, nor is it good for gaming as a whole. And if we keep fooling ourselves into thinking it is, you're going to get a million Crimson Desert clones, and you're not going to have those good experiences that we had from yesteryear.
And it's all your guys' fault. You guys ruined gaming.
Yes,
not Yellow Paint Phil Burnell over here. It was you. You were the one in the Sony fucking convention where they showed how they have to dedicate half of their manpower to ensuring retards like him can beat the game. That was actually you up there.
It's relevant forever. Tell us more basic stuff. We're all little kids, not adults. It's like listening to my mom. You're here listening. You chose to be here. You're not.
And that was the first response to all of that, by the way. That was the response to DSP's 40-minute fucking rant about Crimson Desert and the games of yesteryear and all of that. The first response was...
We're all little kids, not adults. It's like listening to my mom.
It's like listening to my fucking mom.
You're not tied to a chair. No one's forcing. You're not a hostage. If you don't like my opinions on my podcast where I give my opinions, you can leave. Are you aware of this? Maybe you didn't know that. Here's the thing. You can actually leave content you don't like, and you can watch content you do. You have freedom to do that. It's amazing. It's called free will. Let's see here.
Thank you to Pasta Maker for the 5, saying, I got tired of zombies being in everything in the late aughts, early 10s, but I didn't spend 45 minutes ranting about it. Learn to deal with it, you baby. Yeah, you just don't engage with the fucking IPs or the franchises or the media or whatever it is. You don't have to interact. It's always within your own actions to just not give them your money, not support it, and not engage. Because if the more people that do that, the further it goes, like the faster it goes away.
Upgrade did a $10 super chat, and he says, is it possible you just aren't good at the game instead of saying it sucks? It has 57 positive reviews on Steam for a reason. You saying it sucks make you sound like a crybaby. Did you hear what I said about the game? I said there's things about the game I absolutely like. For sure, 100%, there's things I really like about the game. It doesn't overall stink. But if one of the core gameplay elements, the combat, is very, very generic, isn't nearly as good as the combat of most games that I play. I mean, there's games I played over a decade ago, like Shadow of Mordor. Okay, the combat of
Shadow of Mordor wasn't an original fucking concept either. Those combat mechanics were essentially just what Assassin's Creed had invented far before that, which Batman Arkham seemed to have taken liberties on as well. Why are we not complaining about the mishmash of mechanics here and how those are uninspired and not groundbreaking? Why is Shadow of Mordor and fucking Shadow of War this like pinnacle that he can point to? It's very odd to me. I actually don't like the way that this might be a hot take, but the way that the Batman games innovated on that style of combat, I was not a big fan of, actually. And the further that the Assassin's Creed games went, I didn't like those either.
That game is far better than this game. Okay, early FromSoft game combat is better than this game. It is. All right, now you can disagree, and again, that's okay. But for you to discount my opinion because you disagree without justification means that your opinion is invalid. You have to justify what you're saying. And every time that I ask people, what is it about the combat of Crimson Desert that's so good?
This is not to talk down on a Shadow of Mordor or War, though. They are fun games. They're very enjoyable. The mechanics go well together. The combat can be satisfying. The Nemesis system is incredible, and I wish it wasn't fucking copyrighted. That's insane to me. But I'm just saying it's not original or groundbreaking in any meaningful way in accordance to the law of DSP.
I don't get any answers. I get crickets. I say, nothing. Instead, I hear, oh, just get good. Get good without explaining what I'm missing is invalid. So thanks for $10, but until you're going to explain to me how I'm misunderstanding this insanely great and complex combat engine, your point is moot.
So until you pig-explain to me what I fucked up, I didn't fuck anything up. That's actually you who's an idiot.
But thanks
I
very
love
much.
how that works.
The whole darn world did a €2 super chat and says, 17th 2-hour rant from someone who values time. It's a
Yes! Yes! Exactly! We're complaining non-fucking stop about this game that we claim we don't care about, and it sucks. Then we could just be done. We could play games. Time is so valuable. I wasted 2 hours. It was a fucking waste of the stream, and we're sitting here crying.
podcast. Do you not understand what a podcast is? It's where you talk about topics. Yes, a lot of people value this time. You want to know how I know? Because I have more attendance right now on this podcast than I've had of any game I played this week. And
That's not a brag. More people are watching me cry right now than when I actually play the games where I'm enjoying myself. What does that tell you about the audience, DSP? What does that mean to you in the grand scheme of things? This is not a flex. This is actually the biggest insult.
by the way, people are supporting and contributing to it. So it is meaningful use of time. Maybe not to you. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. If you don't think it's meaningful use of time, then leave. You don't have to be here.
Okay. Now, I do have the after review cope from the daily wrap on the night before, but with 10 minutes left on the divorce line, I think we're done for the day. I do really appreciate everybody for being here extra early and on a limited time frame. I really do appreciate it. Big ups. I'm glad I could be here and talk about Crimson Desert, a game I'm actually familiar with for once. And until I see you next Saturday, probably, the intent is, unless he's really fucking boring all week, but I'll let you know. The intent is next Saturday. Until then, I hope all of you have a safe and blessed rest of your weekend and work week. Goodbye.